Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode number 113 of the Terminus podcast for the weeks of December 29, 2018, though I'll admit we're recording this on January 1st.
Happy New Year!
Though. Happy New Year! From myself, the dispatcher, Ellis Tamelio. With me, my engineers are Brett Wiebold and Nick Christensen, and our fireman is Chris Holman. And with us, our brakeman is Howler. Welcome to the podcast from across the pond. I like it when we have international guests on.
Yeah.
Most people here are from the US. Although it's always a pain, because they're either from the UK or Australia.
Would you say I'm your fit?
And then there's Garrett, and he's from a nation all to his own.
Garrett, when Garrett comes on the call at 4 in the morning, I'm like, what?
Nation state of...
Anyway, before the South will rise again, the train will terminate at this station.
Okay, this week we are supposed to be in Tane. I'm told that the broadcast
I can't get the broadcast to work. It's just not happening today. It's not happening
It's a
today.
relatively narrow cast, really.
Yeah, anyway, we're not in Tane. We're staring at a blue screen with things. We would be in Tane or in City Skylines or something. Anything. Just maybe we can go to Skyrim. You know what? I'm going to try to go to Skyrim. At least that's a location. Anyway,
anything goes.
On the way, there were some derailments. Let's talk about the Class 1 mental responsibility. The first one being all the way back on December 16th. How did we miss this one? December 16th, there was a Union Pacific derailment, the first of many that we have, although one of them isn't a derailment. We'll get to it. A Union Pacific derailed in Pittsburgh County, which I don't know where that is. Pittsburgh, it's not Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's not that Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh County, Oklahoma. Wow, that was probably the most exciting thing to happen in Oklahoma this month. 16 cars and the rear-facing locomotive derailed. Kind of a pile-up. Cause of the derailment is still under investigation and probably will be for the next 2 years, because that's how things go around here. And then next we had another Union Pacific derailment. This one happened around Phoenix. It was apparently a relatively minor derailment. There were a couple of cars tipped over, although most of them stayed upright. So 2 and 2. 2 tipped over, 2 upright, both grain hoppers. And the reason anybody cared is because it was blocking the street. Near the airport, too, so that's got to be convenient. Hope you weren't trying to catch a flight, anyone. Then, the day after, Canadian Pacific had their derailment, or one of 2. There was a derailment in Marathon, Ontario. It's funny, it didn't block a marathon, but it was in one. More crews were dispatched on Monday afternoon when a freight train derailed. The spokesperson did not disclose how many cars derailed or what they contained. That's interesting. I guess Canada, you can get away with not telling people what it was. Alright, and then we had a bunch... Oh no, sorry, one more before December 31st. CSX derailment in North Carolina, no injuries reported. Nothing really special. 4 cars, although they did contain hazardous materials.
Dun dun dun!
I don't know what they are. They don't say. They just say it was hazardous. So don't go there.
It's like jalapenos or something.
Thankfully, it happened in the middle of goddamn nowhere. So,
it's North Carolina.
Yeah,
that's pretty much all there is.
Well, no, I know, but like it really happened in the middle of nowhere. Like they're showing the towns nearby, and it's like not near any of those. So
it's North Carolina.
They had to close a section of Peppers Creek Road, about 7 miles south of the town of Spruce Pine. Wow.
Nice town.
Was closed. Several cars that came off the tracks were containing hazardous materials. Still doesn't say, but they rolled down a hill. So, I hope it wasn't that hazardous. You know it wasn't. You know it wasn't that crazy because it wasn't like town of Spruce Pine consumed by large explosion.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, it might be something like paint. Because paint is considered a hazardous material.
It's pretty hazardous if you like
it's, we have a tank car full of Diet Coke and this box car full of Mentos. It's lucky that nothing else happened when it derailed. Actually, sir, they rolled down the hill.
Shining.
God.
See, they're not hazardous independently, but together, it's like the opposite of sodium and chloride. Anyway, then let's take it from the top. We had a lot of derailments on the 31st. Firstly, Canadian National had their one derailment in the past couple of weeks. Train carrying crude oil in Memphis. We're lucky Dean survived, but it was at a yard, so it's not like they were out on the...
Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Oof. Alright, 21 cars of mixed freight derailed at Memphis Yard, including 6 cars of crude oil. Derailment, of course, still under investigation, unsurprisingly. Then another accident by Canadian Pacific on December 31st near Ernfold, which I'm pretty sure is in Middle Earth. But Ernfold, there was a CP train carrying grain that came off the rails about 1 kilometer east of the town. It's like half a mile in freedom units. CP sent teams to it following the crash, and no one was injured. There are no public safety concerns. Real dangerous that grain is, so you got to be careful sometimes. Then we had two from UP on that same day. That one's not the accident. I'll talk about the actual accident first. Actually, this was a UP employee that was killed in an accident in western Kansas, which is unfortunate. My heart goes out to the family. And there was they can't go into details because of that. It happened near the crossing of US 83 and East Front Street in Oakland, Kansas. So, if anyone is
better than Oakland, California.
I suppose.
UP doesn't even won that much in Oakland.
Anyway, and now here's the funny one. And this probably shouldn't...
UP's accident this morning.
Yeah, this probably shouldn't have been... Oh yeah, no, this was published on January 1st. So, ringing in the new year, the Rose Parade ends in disarray after a large train float, Union Pacific's large train float, caught fire and caused confusion and delay.
It's 1996 all over again.
The Chinese American Heritage Foundation's Harmony Through Union stopped moving and smoke began erupting out of it. Oh boy.
Oops.
Who wrote this down as Union Pacific?
And it was on that really, really tight turn in the parade. So nobody else could get around it.
They sort of choked it. It was the corner onto Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course it was Colorado.
Colorado's on fire again, guys.
Yeah.
But in the real ringing in the new year, who derailed but CSX? Train carrying molten sulfur derailing in Beaufort County, North Carolina. So, in the Blounce Creek community, Blount got a creek.
Wow.
7 tanker cars overturned. NS owns the track, but it was a CSX train. And there was no threat to the community, no injuries reported. Actually, it looks like everything held together. It doesn't seem like there's giant, spills of molten sulfur everywhere. Yeah, no, everything seems to be relatively okay. So,
that would be bad.
For a giant molten sulfur derailment, not half bad, CSX. Maybe they're getting better. It's not like
the wildlife.
It's it's not like the accidents are getting better.
It was on NS's tracks, so
yeah. Well, you think that mitigated it a little bit?
So therefore, it's not a huge explosion. If it was on their own track, don't forget it.
Oh yeah, no, it would have taken out the entire town.
Yeah, geez.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, let's move on from derailments and crashes and fires and everything like that. Let's move on to the trackside tales. I'm not going to start because I still have to get a broadcast that works. So, go ahead, guys. Okay. What have you guys done in the past couple of weeks? Well, I know what some of you have done.
Milky, you go.
A while ago, last week, I released an update to my free-foot pack of wearing. Or my Western free-foot pack, I should specify.
No, you didn't make any East Broadtop stuff?
Nah. Miss me with that.
Miss me with that East Broadtop stuff.
Yeah. But anyways, I bought Sumter Valley's 2 diesels that I owned. 100, which is a Davenport Clement. And Weibold is familiar with the other one, number 101.
It's
An
a
engine that was built for a handshake, 2 cents, and a ham sandwich.
Yeah, pretty much.
That we need to fix this coming year.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh boy. So you're not gonna de-accession it?
It's gonna naturally de-accession, just like anything else. Just into the ground.
It's scary. The last time it ran, it tried to kill one of our conductors because the clutch wouldn't let out, and it tried to run into the
no.
Oh
tunnel.
no! And then it was like, oh yeah.
Also, it apparently sounds like a dumpster full of rocks being rolled off the side of a mountain. It's apparently really, really, really loud.
Oh goodness
Yeah.
gracious.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Don't look at these guys, Ellis.
Maybe I will. I still can't get a broadcast to work, so maybe I will.
Well,
Just
don't look at them
no,
yet.
I'm looking at it.
Oh.
Look at it! Look at it!
Well,
Who's that jackass
Well,
standing next to the engine? He's ruining your picture.
yes. I should shorten him down and get the chainsaw out.
Kick his
Either way.
ass.
I took a massive trip to Colorado to help the other tall kid here, the guy that
The
jackass
other
there,
tall
and
kid
I
here. No, he's the tall kid here.
around in
No,
circles.
he's one
I
of us.
figured it out. When I was there, we went 73 miles.
Good.
438.
Why are you doing all these, like... This is the most math I've ever seen you do, Chris.
That
I
also
know.
seems
Right.
wildly inaccurate.
No, for the trips that I was there for, yes.
That seems wildly inaccurate.
73 miles? What?
I'm not counting.
It's 73
moving on and
miles
off
in a
the
small
day.
circle.
It doesn't work out like that.
Well, we're running 9 miles per night, so
And how many
Yeah,
days
but
were
you
you
were
there?
here for 8 nights of polar.
Hold on.
And
Let's figure
that's
this
quick
back out.
maths. That does come out to...
That's
It comes out to
72.
72.
Wrong.
5, 6,
it
7,
wrong.
8, 9.
72.
8 full days, and then I ran one trip on Friday.
Okay.
So
You saying you did 10.
It's fair.
You're saying you did
it's
8.
3 miles.
So you made it to Silverton and halfway back.
Yeah.
And then we left you there.
Yeah.
And then
So
Wobble
it's
left you there
like
because he
back
was
to-
fed up with you.
And these pictures are the resulting pictures, which are pretty much the only good pictures I got. I'm sorry, Brett.
I can't get... I just can't get a broadcast to work. I'm gonna go and get... I can't get a
Are you
camera because
going
it's dark
Monopoly?
out.
that cab picture? That seems like something you'd find at like a Wix website or like a, those
Yeah.
websites. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those
That's your stock photo,
websites.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me pull that up so everyone can see
Also,
it.
don't forget the train day. You gotta remember that.
495. 495. This is one.
No,
I think the
491.
only good picture I have of Jeff.
It's a cool
Just
picture.
sad.
His name's Jeff.
Here's a cool valve gear picture. Let me see if I can...
Elvis.
What?
No, not Ellis. Valvis.
Valvis, okay. I was like,
Valvis.
what? What do you want?
believe
What do you want from me?
It appears that is about it. So
There's some cool
I guess I'm now qualified on the Golden City and San Juan, and that's about it.
As a fireman on the K-37.
So I can run around. in
No,
circles.
you're qualified on the Polar Express.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm
You also
sorry.
got the
How
Christmas.
crude of me.
Yeah.
Have
Well,
your own driving ticket.
did you guys stay on the track?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm glad you guys did because Essex did not. On the last day before Christmas, so it wasn't the 24th, it was the 23rd. TJ and I went down to Essex to see their 8 runs with 3 different engines, on their few miles of track, which we thought would be awesome. You get to see all 3 engines out there. You get to see them meet at Deep River every single time instead of just one engine or one train going through. They were running trains basically
Right.
like 4:35, 5:30, and then an hour break, and then 6:37, 7:30. and we thought, oh, this is going to be super cool. We're going to get there. We're going to see all this stuff. We pulled up. I don't have the pictures. The pictures aren't very good, but we pulled up to the depot because also they're making new parking because apparently they just don't have enough spaces. Holy cow! That's a lot of
that happens.
But that's a lot of parking spots. They have a lot of people coming. So anyway, we pulled up and it was like, oh, look, there goes one of the trains. We just saw it left. It's like, okay, we should be able to see the 3:30 leaving because they had like a 3 and then a 3:30 and then a 1 hour break. Blah blah blah. They only had 2 trains in the first set and then 3 and then 3. We get there and it's like, shouldn't they be pulling up the second train to the station right now? Where's the second train? And so we get out, we walk over, and they've got their 2 coaches, 2 of their, relatively high-priced coaches. They've got the Middletown, which is their super upscale end coach, and then the Goodspeeds, which is another coach of theirs. And they split a switch. They split their 3-point.
Ooh.
They split their 3-point switch, which is at like the throat of their yard. But and so where it was immensely inconvenient because it blocked in 97. The engine number 97, the consolidation was stuck in the refueling area. It could not leave. The 40 and its train was stuck on the main line south of the station. They couldn't pull it up to the station. They don't use the main line south of the station unless they have to go down to the main, like the Northeast Corridor to retrieve something. And that left 3025 and its train on the line. The 3 o'clock train had made it out of the station before this happened. So they couldn't run around at the station, so they were no longer able to run around the train at all. So they could run the 3 o'clock train, the 4:30 train, and the 7:30 train. Or sorry, the 4:30 train, and the 7:30 train. And that's it. They had to cancel 5 of their 8 trains for the night on the last runs before Christmas. And I'm sure that
I was going to say, those are the really expensive runs,
I'm sure
too.
that left,
23rd is like everybody wants to ride.
I'm sure that left a lot of frustrated parents, upset kids. They refunded half the ticket price and let people reschedule. And I got the pictures in here. It wasn't just like, oh, they came off the track. It was like, they split the switch. The rear truck of the Middletown was straddling 2 rails, like just ahead of the Frog. And in one respect, it was actually on top of one of the rails. They had bent rails under there as part of the switch. They had broken 2 rails. And it was... We sat there and watched them for... probably 3 hours on and off, maybe longer, just to get the Goodspeeds back on. And they finally got the Goodspeeds back on, and they had their 80-tonner, one of their 80-tonners, pulling at one end of the Goodspeeds, and then a front loader trying to, shimmy the truck back in the direction it's supposed to go.
Yep.
And they had it all shimmed up with boards and tie plates and, I'm familiar with these. Oh, my God. It was serious, and then they finally got under there, and they got, the rails unscrewed, or, unbolted and unspiked, although some of them had unspiked themselves.
Unscrewed, okay. That's a new one.
Well, unbolted. Unbolted from one another. And the thing is, I wish I'd grabbed one of these spikes, because these spikes were bent up like a paperclip. It was impressive and kind of frightening. And the way these rails were bent and just pulled out of the ground, it was like, man, these guys have a bad time. They had to put, as far as we know, they had to put 97 to bed where it was, stuck at the refueling area. I don't think they ever got it clear by the end of the night, and so they probably put 3025 to bed in the station, and 40 and its train of coaches probably went to bed on the main line south of the station. Because they never got that area cleared. And they were, when we were leaving, they were trying to get Middletown back on, but Middletown was straddling a piece of broken rail. One truck was in the broken section, the other one was at the other side of where their 80-tonner was. So I think I think, their plan was they were going to drag Middletown all the way through the broken section and out the other side, just a few inches at a time. Because there was no way that they were going to replace that rail with the coach sitting on top of it. And they couldn't get it out the other way because there were no engines over there, aside from 3025, which was busy. So,
yeah,
it was.
I'm just imagining all the costs in my head just.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just the cost alone, but the cost of canceling those trains.
Yeah.
That's
and the refunding.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of money. But I'm. They had a couple of days, and I think they ran normally on the 26th or 27th, which was like their next.
Yeah, they ran after Christmas.
Running day. Yeah. So I think everything went fine there. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are these? What is this ski train thing?
Nothing.
Uh-huh.
Brett, you can talk about that.
I want to know more about the ski train
I'm
thing.
sure it has nothing to do with any trespassing or anything like that. Nothing at all. We're going to move on.
I think he went to the bathroom.
That's okay. Or he jumped out the window and is running from the police.
What we can't talk about is the second picture, which is the Colorado Fuel and Iron Pueblo mill, which we went to go see. We went down to see my uncle in Pueblo while we were out there. And we didn't get to see that. We got to see the mine rescue car, which I have a photo of here.
Well, did you not take a picture of that amazing ornate chimney that we talk about?
That is the picture.
Oh, that's the chimney?
That's it. Oh. The picture's not very flattering because it's taken looking across a freeway, but that is cupola number 1 right there.
Okay, interesting. I must have remembered it as looking more ornate, but it does look.
Mine rescue car.
There's the rescue car.
car.
Do you got the picture of little Davenport there? Because I don't have one.
On my phone, I do, but I don't think Skype is going to let me post it. We found possibly the most adorable locomotive in Colorado. Or one of them.
Wow, that's a bold statement when you've got 191 sitting at your museum.
Yeah. I mean, 191's pretty cute. This thing was like, let's call it chibi. It's the most chibi engine in our state.
Okay.
Let me see if I can get a picture of it.
If you send it to me via text, I can post it that way.
I'm trying to get Skype on my phone. Go to settings, privacy, camera, settings.
Well, while he finds that, Howler, have you done anything the past little while that'd be of note?
I don't know, really. I got some stuff, I don't know.
No? Alright. Any model railroading or anything like that? I haven't even been to my model railroad club. I haven't been to the PN. I haven't had time. But
I got some new model railroad booklets, and I've been looking through them, trying to see some new stuff. Because, over there you've got HO, America, you got that stuff. Over here we have OO, double O, and it's totally different stuff, in a way.
Yeah.
Is it
different rollings?
Isn't it the same gauge,
size?
Though? It is the same gauge. It's like a few, inches or something. They're not even inches, Which is
strange, considering the scale is different. Even though it's the same gauge, and the gauge in reality is the same, so the scale should be different, but they're...
it's weird.
I have a Santa Fe model, Santa Fe Bachmann Model A locomotive.
Okay.
And it runs just fine. A little bit slow because the voltage isn't the same, but still, it runs just fine.
It's interesting. You can just get away with that. That's kind of weird. I tried to...
an electric motor is an electric motor. That's about it.
Yeah, at one point I figured out you could, I can't remember what I had, but, I could put something on the, on, Lionel tracks, and it was the right size, but it was an HO scale thing, but because Lionel has the center rail being negative and the other one being positive, it still ran. Well, until it burned out. It worked, but for a short period of time.
Yeah. I've always seen Lionel track, and I've always been like, oh man, I want like a huge set of that because you get all like the coal things to work and everything. I'm like,
Oh
whoa.
yeah, I know that Lionel and its operating accessories are some of the most entertaining things that you can have on a model railroad.
Yeah, you like the giraffe car that like goes under bridges and stuff.
Although,
Yeah.
admittedly, I won't call it a model railroad. But it's not.
No.
Toy train.
It's toy trains,
Yeah,
but it's still fun.
Lionel's toys. That is fun.
Although,
So there's a picture of the Chibi Davenport for CF&I.
with
absolutely
a
smoking
random
in the coat
asshole
shop.
for scale.
Yeah.
That asshole for scale, you know.
I don't know. I think it looks kind of derp. Oh my god, it's a minion.
Yes.
It just like my brain just made that connection.
The minion motor.
At least the bottom isn't blue. Also from Milky, there is one of the Denver Interurban freight motors.
Very, very, very shitty fucking
That
blah, blah.
looks very suspiciously like a replica to me, but
It's not.
No, it's
not.
not.
No.
No.
It's a
Okay.
smoothie shop,
Has
though.
that been like, converted to a building? Was it just
Yeah.
like really low to the tracks?
That's
It's just been put in a parking lot, and it's a smoothie shop.
It no longer has wheels.
what the hell?
that's very common over
That's
here.
a very
with old
small
Mollies.
passenger or freight motor.
I mean, there's not a lot of freight that needs to be moved via the...
It's
Yeah,
a
that's
perfectly
true.
good-sized smoothie shop, though.
Yeah, it's wonderful for
Dude.
bagels. Also, where's the... Did I post
Is
the
that
cock
safe?
smoking thing? Is that sent?
Cock smoking. No,
Yeah.
I saw the one that says absolutely smoking.
Oh no,
No.
the one that says cock smoking hasn't sent yet.
Oh, okay.
I see just smoking.
Actually, I don't really want to send that one because it has my friend is in that picture.
Oh, you don't want to
Yeah,
incriminate
whoever
him?
that friend is.
The coach shop.
Yeah,
Absolutely no working in the coat shop.
Yeah.
This is... What is this? Oh, this is not a door. What does it say underneath? The picture's too blurry.
It just says this is not a door. It's a sign that says this is not a door attached to a door.
Okay, I thought it looked like something was written, like handwritten underneath.
It probably is, but that was the thing. It's just a sign that says this is not a door attached to a door.
Does that say I've worked safely
Does it
for 20
operate as
years
a
on the
door?
Rio Grande Railroad? Because that's a lie.
Yes.
Nobody worked safely for 20 years on the Rio Grande Railroad.
Somebody worked safely.
Plenty of people worked for 20 years, though.
Yeah.
I'm imagining how many people have actually attempted to open that door, like thinking.
Wait, no, did you guys attempt to open the door?
No,
No.
it said quite clearly it's not a door.
Okay, I mean, I just figured you'd want to verify. You're mocking the
Also,
sign.
we
You want to
didn't
know if
try
it's
to
telling
open
the truth or not.
Also, we didn't try to open anything because we weren't there.
Oh, that's
This was a
right. I'm
friend of
sorry.
mine.
It was your ghosts that were taking these pictures.
Yeah, it was a friend of mine that went there.
Oh, yeah, no, it was a
Yeah.
friend of yours. That's what you mean. It was
Uh-huh.
But,
yeah. By a friend of yours, you mean Chris, and by Chris's friend, he means you. I'm sure.
no, it's Simon and Garfunkel. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
You guys don't have any other friends.
I actually turned to him while we were walking back from the shot. It's like, if anybody asks, I'm Simon, you're Garfunkel.
I immediately said, that's the best you can come up with.
Well, what was the other one? He
Smith
said
and
that's the best
Wesson.
you could come up with, and then I came up with another one that was slightly worse.
Smith and Wesson.
I'm Hans, and you're
Well,
Solo.
No, I think the one I said was, I'm Mr. Ping, and you're Mr. Pong.
That reminds me of a bit in Stargate when one of the guys gets sent back to 1969 and they ask him what his name is and he says Han Solo. He says Captain Kirk originally and then realizes that character already exists in 1969.
Yeah. Well, it's like in Timeless. They always choose. This is Britney Spears and.
My name's Calvin
What's the
Klein.
other one? Yeah, they in the military company. I am Admiral Akbar.
That sounds like a trap to me.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it was fun. It was a great trip. I think for both of us.
Yeah, I agree. I'm absolutely exhausted after the holidays though. I got done with school and then did Polar Jihad and then did Christmas Jihad, and I've only just gotten home like an hour or two ago. It's like.
We're done.
And then you had to make the podcast. Yay!
Yay!
Hey.
Also, I appreciate you converting into Eastern time. I just didn't expect it. I was sitting there like, I've got a couple of hours before Weibel gets back, and then you're like, I'm here now. And I go, what? Huh? I'll be right there.
I always use Mountain Time, except for when we're talking about the podcast, because we have established that podcast time is an Eastern Standard.
And I appreciate that.
Oh,
Milky, you going to talk about Rolling Line?
Oh, this. I love this. Yes, I'm trying to...
Real quick, I just remembered something very sad.
What?
We had the A&A Christmas party the other night, and we got really cool little shot glasses.
Okay, how is that sad?
By the way,
Alexa, play Despacito.
It was...
Yeah.
It was,
why would you do this? Why would you...
Either way, we our owner, our
owner.
It turns out that actually on this past Saturday, little boy over at the Zimmerman farm, which is our closest neighbors at the shop, who always waves to their trains, always been very friendly to us. A little 5-year-old boy died on the farm. Actually,
what
it
happened?
is. I don't know, and I'm not pressing.
Okay.
Why are you sharing this on the podcast?
Look, cause I don't know.
He found out about it at his A&A party. I don't know.
Well, look, I don't know what happened. I just know that he died on the farm.
We're in too good of spirits.
So
Rest in peace.
I'll be right back. My sister needs something.
Okay.
All right, Milky, talk about your reskins.
Yeah, I recently got Rolling Line. Thank you, Garrett, for gifting it to me. And I've been addicted. I've been putting out skins for a bit now. The first one that I released is actually on their modding forum, and it's the SP AC44.
Ack.
I see that. I also see your Kodachrome, which is probably my favorite thing you've made so far.
Yep. And I also made a caboose to go with that Kodachrome.
Yep. Also, may I say that Kodachrome Kabisen honestly look like they've been mistextured. Like in real life, they look wrong. Like it looks like I accidentally painted this part and it stole the texture from this part and like.
Yeah. Well, that was the only one that they had.
The Kodachrome scheme also looks like it should have the McDonald's logo on the nose.
Yeah.
No, it looks like it should have SP and SF. That's what it looks like.
So basically these are all like reskins for the stock that's already in the game, pretty much.
No, these are the cheap 9 and the AC44 are mods. But they're not my mods.
I see.
Yeah, you just made the reskins. They look very good, though. I like how, and I said this to you off camera, but I like how you can get away with making a very simplistic-looking thing in Rolling Line, and it still looks appropriate. So you don't have to go crazy on a reskin to make it look right.
The style is very simple, forgiving.
Nice.
Yeah.
It really is. And my current project is WPF7s.
Yep. And they look very nice. They're probably my second favorite thing you've done.
Yeah, I need to adjust the nose a bit, but still work in progress, but they're there.
Yeah, I like
Plus, I have like 5 different paint schemes that I could put them in after that for the WP.
I like Rolling Line. But if I'm going to go crazy building a model railroad, I'm basically already doing that in Tane. And
yeah,
I'll talk about this a little bit, but I did buy Trains 2019. I haven't installed it yet, but I did buy it. Because it came with a free Sally if you bought it before the first of the year. So, unfortunately, if you're hearing this, you don't get it. Hey, Wybold, just as a side note, log into Rainbow Six Siege and get your free operator if you haven't already. You have until the 3rd. Anyway. Sorry, that just popped into my mind. I've been meaning to remind you because you're the one who could use it most.
Yes,
anyway,
thank you.
Fine.
Anyway, I decided to build, not immediately, but I will be building it in the future at some point, the entirety of the Geiger Mountains Railroad, the narrow gauge route that many of you may remember from my very, very old Trains 2006 videos, in Tolbrand as part of the map.
Yep. Because you're insane.
Because I am insane.
This is the stuff I like to hear.
I know. Well,
I used to watch that series all the time when I was like, I don't know. But I'm glad you're remaking it, and I'm just gonna watch it all now.
I wish, and
Poor
I would.
thing.
Well, let's not. Unfortunately, it's not going to be my top priority. It's going to be a while until I come back to it. I'm going to be building all the standard gauge stuff around it first. I have to go down the coast. I have to go and build the twin branch lines. I have to go into the mountains further on the VMR before I built like this box around the area where the Geiger Mountains are going to be. And once that's done, then I'll know how much room I have to play with, and then I'll build like an approximation of what the Geiger Mountains would look like if I were to be like, I want to build that today. Because, let's be honest, that map had some issues.
It's
a slight
quick re-scratch.
Yeah, it's going to be like, I'll be taking the basic place names if I can remember them. Or pull them out of the video or whatever. But anyway.
How long until we...
Do Locomotive Burge?
Yes.
After these messages, I've been doing work in Tain as well, on the Albany and Western Verona branch. I got another 2 miles done on it recently, and I have this little scene here of this little campsite with a trust in the background.
Let me see this. This
I
reminds
think
me
it
of like
turned out-
something you'd see on the Horseman route.
Yeah. I guess it could be typical of something that I probably would put on there.
Yeah, at least familiar. Also, you reskin that melee.
Yep. I decided that I wanted a bigger engine. So
Mallet.
I returned Sierra 38 into Banks Northern Railway, which is the tourist operation that transitions about from the Albany Western about midway through the era of the route. So
Okay.
I still have all the industry set up so you could run a freight train, but it's the tourist railroad in the 60s.
Mm-hmm. What is this
Starting the
roundhouse?
battle eye launcher.
That roundhouse is something I custom built for this route.
Oh crap! You made this. That's right. I remember seeing
I was
in progress
wondering.
shots of this.
I need to scale it up a little bit more.
Yeah,
Dude.
your tracks on there are a little crooked.
Just a bit.
Just thinking the track's a little bit too small, but
The turntable I found on the DLS because it was either that I would make my own turntable, and I tried to figure out how to do that, and it was beyond me. So
It's a very niche thing.
yeah. So I was more than happy when I found the 65-foot turntable that worked out.
Nice.
And this is based off of an actual roundhouse.
Yes, I
I'll
built
see if
it
I
in my
can grab a
backyard
photo
with
of it.
plywood.
Yeah, totally.
It's the
But no,
Buddy
it's the-
L roundhouse.
But it's the roundhouse that assisted here in my town.
Chris,
and
remind me
so-
to tell you about that later.
Okay. Buddy L?
Yeah.
Okay.
Buddy the elf.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He like. I almost said he likes warm hugs. Wait, no, that's Olaf the Snowman. different character, but still the same character.
Pretty much.
Oh, do we have,
Santa! I
Was
know
it
that
this-
guy!
Oh,
was it this that
found
took
it.
the video of us charging the North Pole and dancing with the elves?
Oh, I need to.
I can't remember who, because we did our usual thing, charged the stage, danced with the elves. We had a sword fight with coal scoops, and then reboarded the train to thunderous applause, and it was magnificent.
Oh, I see this roundhouse. Yeah, it definitely.
Did-
It doesn't look like it's made out of wood, at least on the edges. But
It's
no.
brick.
small.
B, it definitely needs to be like not as tall and then wider.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was
you,
thinking,
yeah. Then you can
Yes.
see that engine
on
in there.
Saturday?
Yes, it does not need to be that tall.
yeah,
But hey, you made a roundhouse.
It's a start.
Yeah,
really
that's more
good,
than any of
actually.
us have made, so I'm impressed.
Very true.
Did you do the pin?
The pin. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes, we did.
How did it go over?
It went really well. We didn't just keep going, but we had the two of I first ones to do it was I leaned out the side I was running, and Dusty was in the gangway behind me.
Okay.
We did, the pin, where, there, and gestured out toward the platformer. So it was like, oh no, we can't stop. And Dusty pulls out another one. Here's this. I pretended to put it in the throttle or something and stopped. I fear we're going to be asked to do that more next year because everybody seemed to really like it.
I mean, honestly, I'm surprised you guys didn't do that to be the first thing anyway. Because that's just such a cool idea.
Also, this guy, Ellis. Can I get him as a free operator?
It'll be an alpha pack, and you just open it, and it gives you a random.
Oh, okay. Open.
Don't we usually have like footage, something to watch?
I'm trying to get footage. Also, wait, give Weibel a point.
I can do something.
You told me to.
I told you not now. I'm trying to get footage. I'm trying to get stupid, like any Steam broadcaster work. I'm going through any of them, but
I can do something.
No. You're not supposed to be in a game during the podcast.
No, man.
Because you're supposed to pay attention to the podcast. But
fuck it.
I'm really good at multitasking.
All right. Anyway, all right. Anything else for this section then? Before we move on to locomotive Ur?
I'll let go of that. Never mind.
What?
Well,
You can.
I was gonna say like I built some Lego and something. It was really boring.
Oh, nice.
It's not really boring.
Yeah,
What did you build?
It's not boring.
You can make it interesting. You can do it. All right. Let me give Weibel.
It was a. It was a Lego. It was Lego James Bond thing. So like 007, the old DB5. I know it's not interesting here because but still.
I mean, the only reason that's is because it's not a train, but that's still cool. We actually get to talk about Lego a little bit later. I think you grabbed the article for that. But anyway, all right then.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on.
What?
I'm gonna do a speed thing of the 250th. This past year, 2018, the coal region of Pennsylvania celebrated 250 years, actually on December 26th, since the first recorded use of anthracite coal. And it has become an astounding success. My job is done. I have a resume stuff for now. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, now.
All right, well, before we move on to Locomotive Versus, we have one more little thing to cover, and I'd like to start this section off by thanking Graham for giving me the idea for it. What is everyone's foam accomplishment of the year? Mine, I'll say in brief, mine is doing the Amtrak with Madison. Taking Amtrak cross-country and back over the course of 2 weeks was absolutely fantastic, and I got a totally new perspective on what it can be like to ride Amtrak, and I have to recommend. If you have the time and the money, it is the way to travel. Anyway, but that's my foam accomplishment of the year because I've never done like a long-distance train trip. Well, I hadn't since I was very young, and getting like the roulette and everything, absolutely fantastic. Anyway, what's everyone else's? What's your big railroad highlight for this year?
Do I have to pick?
Big railroad highlight.
I mean, ideally you could pick something.
I mean, I really don't know. There's a lot of things.
Well,
I don't know. I could pick one for you, Chris. You got to run.
Well, yes, but my thing is that this year, not only did I get the all access pass to Railfest with Ellis and Madison, we also got to turn the 113 around and do a golden fucking spike with the 4 1/4.
That's pretty good.
And then go out there and go 73 miles in a circle. And run for like maybe a third of a mile. Probably.
73 miles in a circle, asterisk.
Yeah.
Big asterisk.
I really don't know, honestly, I don't know.
I think I have one that's been pretty significant for this year. Or this last year, in context. Definitely securing those parts for the 1067 was my highlight.
No, your highlight wasn't burning that trolley down by accident?
One, it wasn't me.
That's what
I don't believe you.
Yeah. You scooped it on purpose.
No, okay. I guess I'd have to say the entirety of Colorado, not just running, but the entirety.
I mean, that's a thing. Going out to Colorado, I would say that's a good thing. Getting parts for 1067 from Oki, that's very apt for you because that's like your baby. That's your project.
Yeah, it really is, and especially when you're the only one where you have to be doing work on it.
Hey, well, it's your baby.
Don't we all know that feeling?
Yeah, that's how our car restoration department works. Usually one person takes up a project and that's their baby.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ellis, how do I do this?
What is this?
Unlock an op?
It should be in your alpha packs.
Could be anything.
Like, see where you grab that. There should be one available, and then you.
I'll see if I can post a recent picture of the 1058 that we're getting parts from.
Oh yeah.
Because I actually found one. I can publicly share compared to the ones that I have. That would take on private property, and I can't share at all.
Well, yeah, that really prevents you from
them.
sharing pictures, as we've seen. But wait, maybe your friend took them, not you.
They weren't my pictures, so.
Oh, so then they aren't.
actually
Then you're fine. You're not. They're not gonna come after you.
But anyways, it's been the 1058's been moved off of private property onto the museum that it's currently at. So there's what I believe is the north end of the car.
Mm-hmm.
And the main reason why we didn't go after it as a whole.
Mm-hmm. It's a little rough.
It's more rough than it was in the pictures that I had of it.
What's that steam engine?
Jesus.
I think it's a 10-wheeler.
Okay. No, don't worry, Wobbled. It's just naturally deaccessioning.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Well, it's doing a damn good job.
Yeah, we're proud of you.
Getting paid by the hour.
It's been outside since 1959. So.
Great.
Ouch.
And it's all wood.
Yeah.
I noticed.
I'm surprised it's lasted that long.
So yeah, I'm sad that the door in the center is missing. I kind of want that.
Yoink.
But we're gonna see. We're getting everything under the frame basically, and the controllers, if they're still in there somehow, which I think they are. But to my knowledge, they are. But we'll see as the deal comes to a trial. But we have all the money in hand for it, so we're doing it.
All right. Well, anyway, if we can wrap up there. Wait. Oh, sorry. No. Howler, did you have anything particularly cool train-related that you've done this year or seen or?
No, sorry.
No one thing sticks out for you.
No.
How about getting on the Terminus? Well, actually, this is 2019.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
All right. Well, let's carry on then. That means it's time for. And he's dead. All right. Wait. Where's the thing for the 113?
I'll return in a minute.
Hold on, I'm getting it.
Didn't I ask you to get this together before we started the podcast?
Oh no, I
got the
have it open.
9F.
Copy and
There you
paste it.
go.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
I had it open. I just needed to paste
literally
it in.
anyone could have done it. We have 4 capable people here.
And I got the 9F. Well, you guys.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
I actually have a question. Would we like to do 9F or a BT280?
We've already picked out the 9F. Let's just go with the 9F.
9F.
All right. Who's gonna support the 9F? By the way.
Wait, who put an 060?
Yes, we're doing an 060.
No, I thought we were getting something bigger than that.
9F is
No, I'm saying the 113's an 060.
Well, then who put 060 for 9F? Who wrote
Yeah,
that?
I was wondering. 9F's a 210.
Let's
The
say,
guy that doesn't
that's
know
a
anything
pretty
about
big
Windows
thing.
anything.
That's a really big 060.
Yeah.
But can it beat the extra thick 060 that is the
can it
113?
beat the world's largest 060?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I thought the 9F.
All right, well,
060.
I mean, we should all know what the 113 looks like by now, but if we don't, there's a picture of it. That's actually a really good picture of it. Unfortunately, the valve gear and stuff is being obscured by steam, but either way, good picture. Let's get a picture of a 9F in here.
Well, I don't think it's accurate. Okay, my.
Oh,
I'm
that
gonna
was
amend my
motive.
mistake.
It looks like it had its like front headers like pulled off, and then it was like a totally different locomotive.
Okay, there. I picked.
This
my
the
mistake.
16XX 1600
Yeah.
class, or no? I thought we were doing a. I thought we were
Actually,
doing a
you know
9F.
Wait.
This
No.
here we go. Use this last picture here. Wait for it to say.
9F.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that's not any better.
When it,
On the
when
9F, it's
there
a.
we go.
You just said it's a
Use that
210.
image, because that'd be a lot
Oh my
clearer.
god.
Okay. Can somebody familiar with British steam locomotives please find this damn thing?
Of course, you somehow
Okay.
called my name in that
Yeah.
sentence.
I mean, it's only directed at the British person in the group.
Yeah.
Boom. Hang on.
Do you know
Good,
steam
thank you.
locomotive? Do you know how to use that page? Are you familiar?
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm not familiar actually, but I got an image.
Okay, well we can get an image. That's good enough, and then Milky find something that looks like that.
Okay.
That's it.
Aye, Captain.
Hang on.
Oh my god.
When you're like, mid talking.
I'm just trying to. It should not be this
I
difficult.
found it.
Shouldn't be.
Image. Where is it?
On the wheel trim Sadie.
The real Slim Shady, the 9F.
Real Slim Shady.
There you go. Yeah.
Here it is.
There you go. There's the actual 9F.
Alright, there's a
I'm
9F.
sorry.
This is a. I'm really curious. This is England's finest versus the world's largest 060.
Yeah.
And if
Well, it's only for
if it
something,
doesn't
isn't
win,
it?
if it doesn't win, we'll do the 9F versus 5 Hanks.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
50 Vulcans.
50 Hulk.
Alright,
Man, that'd be big boy.
50 Vulcans.
the big boy versus 50 Vulcans.
Boom.
No, the big boy would be like 75.
Also,
Then
wait,
we
I'm
would
looking
have
at.
to
Hold on.
wait
Hold on. I'm looking at this, right? The first link, the one to the 060, is the Barry Railway.
Very well.
The Barry Railways.
It's the Cushion the Gary Railway.
Alright, anyway, who's going to support. Well, I know who's going to support the 113.
Yes, you bet your ass.
Also, can we have the link down here, please?
It's there.
No, right here, in the document. This. I just wrote it.
Yeah.
I had to write it out myself, like a pleb.
Where is the documents there?
It's in the same place. This one.
Well, I couldn't find the document with my open tabs.
Listen, do what I do and make a separate window for the Terminus podcast when you're doing Terminus stuff. That I found to be very helpful.
I just put a
There.
separate tab.
Dang.
It's good.
Alright, we have the 113. Oh, that's right. We don't have legit steam locomotive stats for this. This is going to be
No,
a
I'm
pain in the
sorry.
butt. We don't have,
It's all going to be
do we
invalidated.
have
so
enough
just look at this
stats?
paper.
Alright, and we're going to be dealing with metric versus imperial, too. This is going to be really fun.
no.
Alright, anyway, who should go first? You know what? I think that the 9F should go first. I think it should have the
I think it should too.
Alright. Wait, who's supporting the 9F? How are you going to do it?
Yeah. What do I do?
Alright, so what you do is you go into that link there and you'll have the steam locomotive page for the 9F and you can see all of the statistics. And what we want you to do, because you're representing this locomotive and you're going first, you have the proverbial ball, is you ask one of these stats that you think that you can win in. You can look at as many pictures of the opponent as you want, but you cannot look directly at their stats. So if you think you have a leg up in some category, then ask that category.
This can be anything, right? This could be anything
anything on this list. And if he has it, then he has it. If he doesn't, we'll pick something else. If you want to know if something is like highest or lowest gets the point, just ask a question. We'll be happy to answer. All right, so you can pick one.
What about real quick?
What?
What are we using? Are we using PSI or BAR?
Yeah, we're using pounds or kilograms.
Yeah.
It should say on Steam Locomotive.
On mine it says both.
Okay, if it says both for you, because I only have imperial
Yeah, just do
measurements.
the imperial one if at all possible.
Yeah.
I forgot what imperial was. Hang on.
Imperial is like pounds, inches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, gallons,
Just
feet.
feet.
And not metric like the other one.
Yeah.
Freedom units.
Freedom units.
All right. Anyway, yeah. So pick a statistic that you think you have a leg up in.
I think my hang on.
You can do everything from any row from Loco Base AD all the way down to Power MT. Any one of those is valid. So you say
Anything from tractive effort, which is probably better for like American engines, or axle loading, which is probably better for British engines.
Yeah, well, we are doing a 113 versus a 9F, so maybe he does have a leg up in some other areas that normally he wouldn't as a British engine. But
Stuff like driver wheelbase and engine wheelbase count, stuff like that, basically.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, you can pick any of those, and yeah, if you want to know if something's longer or shorter, he gets the point, then we'll tell you. But just feel your way around. Just say something.
Engine wheelbase.
All right, engine wheelbase. Chris? What's your engine wheelbase?
11 foot.
11 feet. And what's your engine wheelbase?
30 feet.
30 feet. All right. Well, he's a lot smaller, so the advantage of being a lot smaller, you can get around tighter turns. So he gets the point for that. That means he gets the proverbial ball because he just won the last one. So, Chris, what's something that you want to ask?
Engine tender and wheelbase combined.
So overall wheelbase.
Overall wheelbase, yes. Should be right next to the engine wheelbase.
Yes, it's 2 down from engine wheelbase.
Oh, I see. Overall wheelbase. 55 feet.
45 foot 4 3/8 inches.
I don't think you need to be that specific. You won by a lot, Chris. You won by like 10 feet.
Bizarre.
Oddly specific. All right, Chris, keep going. You won.
What is your great area? Which is something I'm actually very curious.
What was that again?
The great area for the firebox.
That'll be the second one down in heating ability.
It's 40 square feet.
67.7 square feet of great area.
Wow. Okay.
Fat boy.
Yeah, that's a lot of firebox. All right, keep going, Chris.
Firebox. Wait, no, that's not a dimension. That's on steam locomotives. Superheating surface.
535 square feet.
462 square feet.
Oh, okay. Howler gets the point for that. All right, Howler, now you pick a statistic.
Long boy.
Boiler pressure.
Yeah. All right, Chris, what's your boiler pressure?
200 pounds as built, 185 currently.
All right, Howler, what's yours?
17 pounds.
Wait a minute.
What?
17.9. Am I getting confused with PSI? Oh, yeah, I am. 260 pounds, there you go.
All right, 260 pounds. All
I was
right.
about to say
17 pounds. No, I don't think it's 17 pounds.
Off of that.
KPA, I thought the P in KPA was pounds. I was like, wait,
Oh,
what?
no.
Okay,
That's
okay.
that's kilopascals.
Yeah.
Actually, it would be pascals.
Who wins that? Does he win that?
Yeah, he wins that. He won by like 60 pounds.
Okay.
So, all right, Howler, keep going.
Driver diameter.
51 inches.
60 inches.
Wow, they're not that far off.
I was going to
No,
say
they're not.
that's
I mean,
a smaller difference than I was expecting.
The scale is
Yeah.
wildly off because the 9F is so much smaller in terms of loading gauge.
Yeah.
So it makes the 113's wheels look tiny by comparison. But Howler, you still win. So the 9F gets 3 points. So now it's 3-3.
Okay. We still going?
Yeah, you keep going. You won, so you keep
Okay.
asking.
Tender fuel capacity.
10 tons.
Hang on. 7.1 tons.
Aw.
What?
Yeah, that tender is really small for that engine.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Sorry.
Chris wins that one, so it's 4-3.
How
It's
many
made
gallons of water?
It's got EFS.
Tender water
English
capacity.
is 6,750.
6,850.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Cool.
Technically, the tank is 7,000, but we've added things in there. So.
This is a closer max than I thought.
I know, right?
This is actually good.
I gotta keep tabs on what I've done or not.
Yeah, I know. Well,
What-
we run into that
What
every
is
time.
your total heating surface?
Total heating
That would
surface, hang on.
be overall. Oh, sorry, combined heating surface is I think what it is on steam
Oh,
locomotives.
yeah. 2,550 square feet.
19,000.
19,000.
19,000!
1,980.
All right, Howler wins that
Like,
one.
it's
I'm
not like
good
that.
at
It's the dusting
heating
point, and the
space.
boiler just keeps going.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
I
God,
gotta-
no.
They have 5 boilers stacked on top of one another.
We're gonna build a little jarring steam locomotive.
Absolutely
No, you're not.
All right, Howler, your turn.
Factor of adhesion.
Ooh, closer to 4 is better. Chris, what's yours?
How do I calculate
Oh,
that?
god damn it. Hold on. It should say
What's the
it.
equation?
Factor of adhesion is weight on drivers divided by tractive effort. You have both of those. Do you not have both of
Hold
those
on.
stats?
Where's the weight on drivers on this?
It's going to be your engine weight.
Yes,
Same.
it's,
You,
okay,
you
so
don't
where
have
is
any
my
other
calculator?
wheels.
197 oh, divided by what?
Tractive effort.
Tractive effort.
Chris is doing lots of math.
I'm
today.
tapping away.
Proud of-
4.3.
Oof.
4.2.
Ooh.
Also not great.
No, I mean,
much better.
4.2 is not bad. 4.3 is not
No.
great.
Yeah.
All right, so
Neither, I mean, don't kid yourself. Neither of them are very good.
That's true.
But
that's true. I mean, neither of them are very bad though either. It's not like a 4.7 or a 5. You know.
Yeah.
All
3
right, so
points something.
yeah. Well, I mean, 3.7 would still not be half bad, but like a 3.2, that'd be maybe rethink your design. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Howler,
Or just add some
keep
lead.
going. Yeah, add some lead. If you're the Virginian,
Alright, evaporative heating surface.
No.
that'd be regular old heating surface.
What
Don't you have combined heating surface?
I have the separate heating surfaces for tubes, flues, and firebox, and that's it.
Okay,
Oh,
well
no,
that
okay.
would be the separate heating surface. That's not the combined heating surface then.
Well, no, it has combined as 1980.
But that's not.
What?
But does that
I don't
include?
have
Does that
evaporative.
include the
I've got
superheating?
evaporating
Wait, does that
surface.
include the superheating surface or not?
Yes,
Alright.
it does include the superheating
Okay, then
surface.
subtract the superheating surface from that number. Because you have the superheating surface separately.
Okay, 1518.
2015.
Oh wow, the 9F
For the
scores another one.
I said evaporative heating surface.
Yeah, which is just like not, which is the non-superheating evaporative. It's the non-superheating evaporative surface, and then the combined is the two of them together. Anyway, all
Let me
right.
actually check my math real quick here so I can make sure that is...
Either way, you lose. So,
Okay, no, that doesn't include... So 1980 is the evaporative heating surface. The actual heating surface is 2,442 square feet.
which is still less than what he had, right? What was your combined heating surface,
Yes.
Howler?
Yeah, what was your combined?
Howler,
Hello?
is he dead?
He left.
Uh oh, he
We've
died.
lost England.
Uh oh,
No.
press F to pay respects. Well, he bailed. He couldn't handle it.
well,
What were we looking for again?
You know what? I have it. I can tell you. His combined heating surface was 2550.
Yeah, you still lost pretty
2442
considerably.
Isn't that far off?
No, it's not that far off.
Still lose, but either way, you know.
All right. Well, I just wrote him. Hopefully he'll come back. Maybe he had to go because it was too late. I don't know. Hope he would have said something first, or maybe he just crashed.
Yeah.
Or internet
All
died,
those
or whatever. Many things could happen. All right. I'll continue supporting the Englishman then. So,
Okay.
what was the last thing we just did? We just did. Oh yeah, heating surface. All right. Let's see. What do I think I can win in? Let's do tractive effort.
45,800 pounds. Actually, no, that's wrong. It's 46,000.
Okay.
46,800.
41,253. The 060 is more powerful than the 9F. Just on the face
the
of it.
decapod.
God damn it. God damn it,
Yes.
Britain. I'm never trusting you again.
How many points do we have?
We have a total of 12. We have 8 more
Damn.
points to go around.
Fuck.
I know exactly how you win this, Ellis.
I think... No, I'm not sure how.
I know how.
Okay, I'll...
Wait, I can ask.
You can ask questions.
Hey,
When were
hold on.
When were you two built?
Oh, wait, no,
Back.
Howler's back. Alright, Howler, retain your position. We just did one more thing.
Died.
We did tractive effort. I took over for you. We did tractive effort, and I lost. So,
Okay.
he has the ball again. What happened?
My internet died.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
had a feeling. Alright,
That's
Still
something
stands. How many were built?
how many were built?
221.
How many 113s were built? Yeah.
5.
5. Alright, well, that doesn't give Howler back the ball because Chris wasn't the one that asked the question, but it does give him a point. Alright, Chris.
Okay, I got Jesus.
It's scarily
Okay.
close. It's very close.
It
which
is very
which
close.
is
This
scary.
surprising. What is your cylinder diameter times stroke?
By stroke.
My stroke, sorry.
Hang on, I'm trying to find it.
It's where is it? I actually
I
lost
swear,
it too.
sorry.
Oh, it's the third one down in geometry related to tractive effort. It's underneath boiler pressure.
Oh, I see. Okay. 20 inches by 28 inches.
Holy shit! 23 by 26.
Oh.
All right. Well, you know what? We're calling that a wash. Next question.
Why?
Why?
Because they've got one higher and one lower.
So?
So all right,
So?
fine. What's better?
I'd
Well-
say 113 is better because you've got more. You can put your tractive effort to better use. A bigger area is more important than a bigger stroke. The stroke is really just a function of the diameter of the wheels.
Okay.
Which, since we already have a point associated with the diameter of the wheels in speed, which is just exactly what that ties into, I feel like it should go to the diameter of the bore.
Okay. In this case, I'll give it to
Okay.
that. So the 113 gets the point. Based on your reasoning.
Okay.
So it's 7-7 again. Why didn't I go for the easy points? Why did I go for attractive effort? Why did I go for something I was curious about when I suddenly had control again? That was smart. Why did I go for like loco base? Well, he doesn't have a loco base. Damn it.
What is your
should've-
valve gear?
Oh no.
Valve gear. Where is that? I need to
Wait,
find it.
before you say it, I always forget on this one. Do we do ubiquity or mechanical efficacy?
It goes Baker, wall shirts, other junk.
Okay.
Wait, so what is it again?
Valve gear.
What's your valve gear?
Oh, I see. Wall shirts. I can't even pronounce it.
Wall sharts. Wall
Yeah, wall
sharts.
sharts. Wall sharts.
I have Baker
All
set
right,
up
that means
for high
he wins.
speed
Yeah,
running. I
you
win.
did that knowing what the outcome was going to be.
Actually, I honestly wasn't sure because I wasn't sure if wall shirts was the better valve gear.
No.
in this
We've determined
game.
it's Baker.
What's the one we do by ubiquity then?
The one we do by ubiquity is
Builder?
Builder. If it's Baldwin,
Okay.
you win.
Baldwin bias choo choo.
Baldwin bias
Okay.
Baldwin or Judiata.
Well,
No,
we
Because
can't
standard
do
bias.
Builder because
Well, Builder here would not help anybody.
Why
no.
not?
Because it's British builders and US
Yeah,
builders.
but Swindon is the Baldwin of the UK.
Okay.
It is.
So how does that stack up against Alco?
You can see. You can
that's a
see
good
through.
point.
It's like the secondary.
I forgot that you were Alco. I thought that you were home built.
No, we're Alco.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing.
Well, never mind. That is a watch.
No, Alco wins because we beat them in the war that one time. No, I'm kidding.
They also beat.
Shh, shh, just be quiet. Nobody talks about the War of 1812.
What the hell was it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Pick something.
Pepperidge Farm.
Can we go? Do we have the original math for Robert Lee Messinas?
Oh God.
What?
No.
Oh, that's right. We can't do any of the power computations. Uh-oh.
Well,
I know.
Wow.
Okay, wait. Yes, we do. Hold on.
Do we have the equation?
Here you go. Here you go, Chris. If you click on more information on any steam locomotive page, it'll take you to it. This is how they do the power
Really?
computations. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Really?
Yeah.
I want to read this.
I'm amazed that you haven't read it before.
Okay, give me the equations.
It's right there. You can read it. For Robert Limit, you want to do Robert Limit's power computation? That's what you want to do?
I'm not.
I guess I really don't have
All right.
much else.
Don't
to
worry, Howler.
ask.
You don't have to do any math.
I'm
Wait a minute.
really-
Wait a
I'm
minute.
really-
No. What type of brakes do you use?
That's a
That's
style
right.
point. That's not an official statistic.
No.
Yes.
That's also kind of a trick question because in modern years for mainline service they've been fitted with Westinghouse positive air brakes.
Yeah. So let's
Historically,
not.
I don't care
Let's
about
not do that.
Al
Let's not do
George
that.
Westinghouse
That's something
runs
for
this
style points.
railroad.
If it's not in the if it's not in the steam locomotive page, it's not a stat.
See?
Okay.
It's not a stat, quote unquote.
Okay, this is
Stat.
Robert Lee Messinas power.
Yeah, that's,
computations. Where is
Great area times boiler pressure.
great area times boiler pressure? Where is my page? So we do
This is a very
7.7
mathful
times
podcast.
200. 13,540.
All right, and what's your Robert Lemonson's power? Robert Lemonson's power computation. Howler.
10,452.
Oh my God. Okay, the camel, not the camelback. The 113 wins again. All right, it's
Okay.
9-7.
Which is interesting because looking at the page, Robert Lee Messina's power computation, one of Lancelot's objections to it is it doesn't account for low-calorie, large-grate fireboxes such as Wooten's.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Interesting.
I assume it's more like it overstates it because it's a much larger great area.
It would artificially inflate the number with a massive grade area.
It doesn't matter. Had Robert Lee Messina's power computation.
True.
All right, keep
True.
going.
Same as above plus superheater percentage after I figure it out. First mod, factor in the superheater percentage.
This is like your trap
What do
card,
I
right?
add? I just add the superheater.
Robert Lee Messina's power computation is always the trap card. It's always like,
Yeah.
it's time!
It makes or breaks.
Card games on motorcycles!
Yeah.
So I add in the superheating surface for this
No,
to
you
get
do.
the super-
You factor in superheater percentage, so you multiply the Robert Lee Messina's power computation by 1 plus the percentage derived by dividing superheating surface into combined heating surface. So, what's the percentage of your superheating surface? How much of your total superheating surface is how much of your total evaporative heating surface is superheating surface? Plus 1 times Robert Lee Messina power computation.
You make my PEMDAS
1980
hurt.
plus 462%. No, not 426%.
No. Take your total. Take your superheating surface, divide it by your combined heating surface, then add 1,
Okay.
and then multiply it by Robert Lee Messina power computation. It's not a PEMDAS thing. If we were writing this out, there'd be a bunch of parentheses, and it'd look really annoying.
I know. It just, I know. I know, it's hurting my head. It's like, I don't like the way that this is written, and it's not the way you're saying it, it's the way it's written on the page. It's like, this...
Oh god, I just ran over my robe with my office chair.
Ooh.
Ow.
Times 45800. So, okay, is it supposed to be a number in the 3 million?
No! No,
it's
it is not.
I'd say let's move on.
Yeah, let's not do this.
No,
Alright, do we have
not.
any... do any others? Literally anything that isn't these power computations, because...
How many points are there on
Power
the board right now?
L1.
There are a total of 16, so we need 4 more.
Okay.
Okay,
What did you say, Chris?
well, can we do power L1?
God damn it. How do you do that?
Stop doing this.
Third
You're the
mod.
one that has to do
Power
that.
L1.
Oh my god.
Power
Massive.
L1 is...
Oh my
Massive.
god.
Oh my god, it's like an Excel calculation. No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, move
Number
on.
of low
Move
pressure
on.
cylinders is great. Wait, how is if number of low pressure cylinders greater than 1? Is this only for compounding engines?
No. It's saying there's a different formula if you have low pressure cylinders.
Yeah.
Just her
Oh, okay, that's yes.
Take
The
the
firebox area is greater than 0. So, if you do in fact have a steam locomotive,
You just have like a piece of like metal sitting around that.
No,
Yeah.
you have a fireless engine. There is no power L1.
that's
Yeah.
true actually.
Firebox area is
Okay,
greater.
what if... Can I get my axle loading? Because I don't...
Get your axle loading? It'll be just your weight divided by 3.
Okay, well, we're gonna do that.
All
What
right.
is your axle loading? My weight is...
This is not a good point for you, Chris.
Mine first. Mine
I
is.
don't have anything.
Chris, this is a lighter engine that has 6 axles on the engine alone.
Just let him do this so that we can get some points and move on.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he shouldn't do it. I'm just saying
You are saying you shouldn't do it.
we have to do it now.
Okay, so I take my engine weight and then divide it by
Divided
3.
by 3. You've got 3 axles.
Yes.
Okay. So what is your axle loading?
34,720 pounds.
65,000.
Jesus Christ!
0.6 repeating.
Okay.
Oh
Hey,
my god.
Howler, now that the ball is back in your court, I'm not you, so I can't ask these questions. But if I were you,
Totally.
I might ask something to do with when the engines were built.
Okay.
Watch him not ask that.
Let's see.
You can ask whatever you want.
I'm thinking. Give me a second.
God damn it!
My phone's
Bible
having
dropping
anger.
hints bombs here.
Why, well, you can ask them too. You can ask these questions.
Oh wait, no, he has the ball now, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, so it doesn't matter. When were they built?
Why does it matter when they're built?
Because it's a point. It's a point. Because a newer
When,
engine.
when,
Well,
when
because
was it built? When was it built?
a newer engine.
1923. Just give the fucking point.
1950.
1954. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, when was
It's
when
like
was the
20
last one
years
taken
younger.
out of service?
Hold
the
on.
last
That's
one built
hey,
was
that's
in
not a style. That's not a style
1960.
point. Or that's a style point.
When was the?
Oh,
When, yeah, he's right. When was the last 9F taken out of service?
Never mind. If it is
That's
a
a
style
style
point.
point. That's not. We don't. That doesn't happen here.
It's a style
It
point.
does happen
That's
to
not
me.
on.
Okay.
That's not on the list.
I'm hit.
All right.
alright,
All right. All right.
description.
Wait. What did we do? How many? Number in class.
We already did that.
No,
already
we did
that.
number built.
Yeah,
Why will ask
Yeah.
number built? Number in class,
it's the same for me.
which is
Yeah, it'd be the same.
Which is-
It's just one.
we know,
class.
which is
That doesn't count.
it does count. We always do this.
No,
Yeah,
we
we do.
don't.
Yes, we do.
No.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
we've done
do.
it.
We do this every time.
That's the same
It's a
question
cheeky
as
bastard
number
point.
built.
There's only one class of 210
Okay,
in the UK, so,
so
it's
it's-
exactly the
How
same,
many?
which is 221.
How many is it? How many? Just give me the number.
221.
Okay, Chris.
221.
No, this does not count. I'm gonna
This
contest.
does count. We've done this every time. All right, I'm just gonna give him the point because I know it's 5. All right. How you can ask another thing? If not, I'm gonna try
We
to
need
think
one
of
more
something
point.
Hang on. What is the minimum weight of
Uh,
90. No, it's 85 pounds.
All right, and what's yours, Howler?
58 pounds.
All right.
What's your pounds? How many pounds?
58.
All right, so you're
wow,
up.
you
You're
can
up.
win on our museum.
All right, you're up 11 and 9. We have a
that.
total of 20 points. Howler, you should say right now, I would like to go to style points.
So what?
Style points. Stuff that's not statistics, because we're running out of
Style
statistics for him. All right, style points. All right, guys.
Style-
Okay, style point for the 9F. He was the last engine to be built by the British Railways.
That's style point.
Niner.
That's
Okay.
yes. It's true. Evening Star was the last steam locomotive built by BR.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Style
When
points.
were they retired?
Yes. I was retired in 1966.
Okay, the 9F was retired in 1968.
Damn it!
Ooh.
Damn you, 15
So
getting
both
special.
pretty
Damn
late.
you.
Wow.
How many survive?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Just fuck you.
I'm gonna guess the answer is more than one for the 9F.
The answer is 9.
The
Let's
answer's
do
9.
1.5 because parts of the 115 survive.
You still lose.
Still lose.
However, that means
Hard.
Chris does get the point for percentage
Yeah.
because he has
Yes.
20% surviving.
God damn it, you're right.
I'm here.
You're right.
Or actually, sorry, 30%. Let's give him that half. Let's give him that
Yeah.
half an engine.
What's happening? What's happening?
We're doing style points, so
Got it.
anything that's not on the list that makes your engine special or better than the other engine in competition.
What has
We
steam
are the
deflectors?
only-
Which one has
the one-
steam deflectors?
Oh yeah, the 9F has steam deflectors.
How
They're not
many
steam
operate?
Okay, that's when the
No, that's a wash.
survive.
Any update, any update, any operate. So, yeah, they both operate. Is there a trains model for either of these?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
but it's not public.
Your Paul's thing
Yes,
does
right.
not count.
No, there is.
Also, Paul's
Steve-
train stuff is on the DLS
now. Steve Lero
Oh,
did
sorry, no,
make
Cumberland trains.
113 that is privately distributed between the 113 crew. It is not available for public sale, but it does exist.
Okay, cool. So those
Guaranteed.
Token
that's
point, the 9F was in Thomas and Friends.
Ooh, that's a good one.
it.
Yeah, that was a good
Okay,
one.
I'm gonna give
We are the
I'm
only
gonna give 113 a
operating-
point for having a tender with a sensible wheel arrangement.
Eh,
I don't
Yeah.
get what's with 3-axle tenders. It's like here we have a tender that can't take curves.
style point for the
Sure,
113.
that's the right reaction.
Style point for the 113. It has a new tender.
That's not a style
That's
point.
supposed service
That's
not a
style
point.
no, it's not.
Tender.
Style point for the 113 for being the only operating andesite burning standard gauge
Okay,
steam
that's
locomotive in the
that's
entire
something.
world.
That's cool.
I,
No,
We're not
I'll give
going
it to
into
him
this
because
again.
he
I'm revived
burns
here.
we win it.
special.
I know we win it. We went into this at the museum a little bit. I
Mine-
still
mine-
contest that.
The 9F was the last steam engine produced in the whole of the UK.
Yeah, that was we gave it that style point. That was the first style point we gave it.
Good.
Points for actual style here. At least the Swindon built 9Fs had brass accoutrements, including a copper stat cap.
Yeah, and
we have two. We have two
Why?
funnels.
Think
We have
about
two
like-
funnels.
oh, you have two
The double
funnels.
Wait, the double chimney's another point.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
2 points.
And the smoke deflectors, if you didn't already get them, and
did.
the driver wheels that are on roller bearings, as well as the tender.
Ooh.
Left that into the same point,
Lots of
and
roller
the
bearings.
motion and the rods that are on roller bearings,
Ooh.
and the screw reverse.
That is not a style point.
Cross-beat
Screw reverse is not a style point.
Okay,
Ooh,
fine. And the
Why
engine rebuilt with the
do you
Linton
hate
Crosby
me?
thing, whatever it was.
Nah.
Yeah, Crosby.
Am I saying that right? Crosby, yeah.
What is that
Yeah.
thing?
That's the
Yeah.
Italian experimental double-chambered boiler. Hang on, I've
Is
got
that,
Oh,
it.
yeah,
is that a
that's
style
it, yeah.
point? That's weird enough.
I
I'll
will
give
give
it.
it.
I'll give it a
style
style
It's
point. That's
Italian.
weird enough.
It's Italian as well, so bobbity beepy.
That doesn't just
That'll
make
be-
me okay. I'll give it a style point.
Style point for the 113 for having our own brand of pipe tobacco.
You know what? I'll give it
Yes.
because that's pretty unique. That's pretty entertaining.
Okay,
That's,
yeah.
it's
Okay.
Fair.
not too many
Right
engines
there.
have that. Does either engine have doors? Hey, do you have doors? No, you don't, because you have a fat firebox.
Yeah, no, we have.
You have doors out
Wait,
the
what do
front?
you mean doors?
At the front.
No, we don't. Okay, I wasn't sure what you're meaning by doors.
No, the only doors that matter, the ones out the front.
Yep.
Do you have steam heating? Does the 9F have steam heat?
Steam heating.
Does the 9F.
I would hope
Pretty sure it does.
I would hope so.
Historically speaking.
That's the comfy seats point right there.
Yes.
Does the 113 have steam heating?
Yes, it does.
Why?
Well, remember, it was built to work in Jersey City and switch passenger cars around. You got to keep those things heated.
I didn't realize that. I thought it was something. That's what that was for. I just learned something.
Odd specify.
What?
Odd technicality with the style point. Yeah, you have steam heat for the train, but you don't have heated seats.
Yeah, you don't need to have seats.
No, we don't have heated seats.
I thought that was part of the comfy.
No,
it's
generally an indicator. It
no,
comes from
that.
But
in this case, we do know it has train line steam heat, but it doesn't have heated cab seats up.
Yeah, it doesn't.
No, because you have a giant leg burner.
Also, it doesn't. It doesn't really matter if you have heated seats or not. The comfy seats is just sort of a moniker for. Do you have steam heat?
For train line steam.
Yes, we do.
Because that means the passengers are comfy in their seats.
So they both have train line steam.
Springy seats.
Restored outside in the wild.
No.
Yes.
That's more about the crew than the engine or the class.
Yeah. That's a cool point.
As well, there have been 9Fs that have been restored in less than optimal conditions too.
Yeah.
A style point mechanically for the 9Fs is an external throttle linkage, even though it's not a head-end throttle.
I have a point. How many of your 060s are actually still around?
We did that. We did that. He's got one left out of.
Well, I do have
One
a good
and a
point.
We have
one and a headlight.
One and a half.
Headlight.
All right. Hey, Wybold.
Yes.
What's better, the cylinders being in a normal location or the cylinders being cockeyed like they are on the 9F?
There's no difference mechanically speaking. The only thing you're going to run a little bit of a difference with is lubrication. Actually, sorry, no, there is. There are differences. Neither of them are mechanical. Higher canted cylinders allow for better ground clearance and clearance along platforms and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
They also lend themselves to poor lubrication, though, because all the oil, once it's been allowed to condense in the cylinders, runs to the ass end of it.
Okay. So does that mean a style point for the 113 for having level cylinders?
I think you could give the style point to the 113 for having level cylinders and more even lubrication. I think you could also give it to the 9Fs for having better ground clearance with the canted cylinders.
Well, here's something that may push it over the edge for the 113. You can reach all around those cylinders on the 113. If you're trying to reach something over top of the cylinders on the 9F, or get your hand in there, good luck.
Yeah, I like how they've actually had to cut a little port
cut
out
a hole for the
sniffer valve.
Yeah.
So point for me to that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's 14 to 22. It was very even before we hit
the official locomotive of the Anthracite 250th and the official locomotive of the coal region of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but this one has a name.
Well, look.
This is true. A lot of them have names.
Yeah, no.
Look.
It makes you special, but these guys are also special in their own way.
However, look, if we're
all
going to
just
give
special
point,
snowflakes.
if we're going to give a point for the last
Everyone's
anthracite burning
super.
steam engine, we should give it for that. If we're going to
We did.
give them a point for being the last ones built in Britain,
We did.
Where did we land on that, actually, the last anthracite burning steam engine?
I gave him a
Because
point
Milk
for
and I
that.
the
think are on
last
the same
anthracite
page.
burning standard gauge steam engine operating.
I think
You know what?
Milky and I landed.
I don't care. I'm giving him the point because he burns anthracite.
Ooh.
You and your damn androcyte.
Yeah. It's unique enough that I'll say it's style point worthy enough, even if it doesn't exactly fit that description.
Okay, I got a style point for the 9F. One of the survivors is part of the national collection with the steam locomotives.
I don't think that's a style point.
No.
Okay, what about
Even
being
Star-
saved from
even
buried
Star got a
scrapyards?
point.
I don't think we're getting any further here.
No,
I think it's
not done.
I think it's 14 to 22.
I think the outcome is fairly definitive at this point.
Mechanically speaking, I won. Style point speaking, they
You won by
by
I
at least-
don't know if you. You still
I'm not
didn't-
sure I'd say you won
I
mechanically.
think you came real close. I think it was.
by mechanically, I won by one.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, no, you
Yes,
didn't.
I did. I watched
by
it.
stats. By stats, you won.
Yes.
by
No,
one.
wait, by
By
stats he was. No, he didn't win by one in stats.
I did.
No, you
What
didn't.
did he win by stats?
It was 9-11 when we went into style points.
Mm.
You were
I
down
thought
by
it was
you were down by
11-5.
2.
Ah! And even so, to make my point further, the stats are not they're not equivalent to the mechanical design of the locomotive. There's a lot of stuff that is not listed statistically.
You can have a good engine statistically, but it could be a shit engine mechanically.
And that's
Yes.
part of what the style points are for. I mean,
Right.
aside from all the frilly stuff, national engine of whatever, does this, does that, how many survive, that sort of thing, what the style points also bring out is, it really shows off the fact that the 9F is 20 years younger than the 113.
Yes.
It is the pinnacle of UK steam, and that's why we brought that engine on as a contender. Because, well, I'll probably get... I'm sure there's some argument as to what the pinnacle of UK steam is. But it is one of the last steam engines that they made, or it's the last steam engine that BR made, and it's, it shows, because it's a very, very well-developed engine. So,
Clearly the hush-hush.
the 113 is a very good engine nonetheless, and we've seen that in competitions with some other engines before, and, here today, it beat the 9F in tractive effort, for example. But I think when you take all things into consideration, we're looking, it's very clear that this is a 9F victory.
Yeah.
9Fs are just better engines.
I think it's a big.
Alright, so that's that. British Railways 9F by the points. That's 22-14. It looked really even until we started getting into style points. But now we have to cast our votes. Of course, you guys, Chris and Howler, you guys did the thing. You don't get to vote, but we do. And I'm going to cast my vote in favor of the 113. Now, before you cry American bias, I almost voted for the 9F, but the canted cylinders ruined the look of the locomotive for me, and I can't do it.
Oof.
They look better.
I disagree. Alright, Milky Wybold, what do you guys think?
I'm gonna Will British fill out this one. I'll have to go with the 9F because I had the idea that most of it is roller bearings.
Isn't that great? It's like Wybold just whipped out the roller bearings. You're rolling in roller bearings, Howler.
Mm.
Oh, interesting.
Uh-oh.
I will win someday.
We may have missed one, but I think it's sort of inconsequential at this point.
What is it?
Don't really mind.
What?
What are
The 9Fs is it looks like some of them had the cylinder rod counterbalancing.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow, okay. Cool.
So one more for them, even though it doesn't really matter. That said, I think I have to cast my vote for the 9Fs just because, yeah, they have an advantage because they are really young in the grand scheme of steam engines and they have a lot of advantages because of it. But that said, they're just mechanically superior machines.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
It did.
They are.
Oof.
I love.
Can't you just feel that
The
coal
love in
region
the air.
hospitality?
Yeah.
There's a reason why everyone loves you guys.
Yeah, man.
I love 113, but she's kind of just this little porky thing on little itty bitty wheels.
Fuck you.
Well, they're not
And
that little.
and
They're
for-
just little in
and-
comparison. We figured that one out.
Yeah,
It's like
and for the record, I think the canted cylinders actually look pretty cool.
it's like a 7-foot tall man with an average sized dick. It looks small. Anyway,
Great.
let's move on. Let's get on to some
Well, speaking
normal
of
sized
people
people,
with
normal
all
sized constructions, and some people with Milky. If you'll let me take this just for a second, while we're on genitalia, there's a man that was killed because of his unbelievable enormous balls in an extremely predictable way. Also, this with its stupid Snapchat filter on, kill me.
This dude that was on the roof.
Yes.
Oh God.
You
idiot.
I know, right? He was train surfing and he was decapitated by hitting a bridge. So,
You idiot.
Also, he filmed himself playing chicken with a locomotive. So, it shouldn't surprise anyone that this is what happened. The only thing that annoys me about this is that the train he was traveling atop was forced to stop for 46 minutes to figure out what the hell happened. Aside from that, though, man does incredibly ballsy thing, dies predictably stupid death.
Wi-Fi, I swear.
That was everybody. Everything. I think that might have been my internet too. Like mine just went haywire. My stream died. As soon as I get one working, it stops working. Anyway.
Stop working!
So yeah, that's my story of tremendous balls for this week. Does anybody have it? Does anyone else have any?
No.
Wait, what was...
One could say Union Pacific has tremendous balls right now.
Why?
Yeah. They're downgrading Roper Yard in Salt Lake City due to pruning low-volume interline intermodal lines in conjunction with Norfolk Southern.
Oh, they're doing that precision thing.
That's the opposite of... I was going to say that's the opposite of large balls. That's this precision scheduled railroading nonsense.
I mean, as far as I understand, it was the huge testicles of Hunter Harrison that kept him from accessing food or water and eventually killed him. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. True story.
You're pretty sure that's what it was? They broke his back. He tried to stand up, and they just hit the floor, and it snapped him right in half.
God damn it. That's horrible.
I know.
No, he's been dead a couple of... Wait, when did he die?
Too soon?
No, it's not too soon anymore. It's been long enough.
F.
I don't think it's been long enough.
Harrison. Press F. Hunter
also,
Harrison.
It was E. Hunter Harrison.
Oh, it's E. Hunter Harrison?
Yes.
Oh.
Press E for Hunter Harrison.
Press E for Hunter Harrison. It was more than a year ago.
Okay, I had a feeling, because I thought I remember talking about this
in that
in
case,
January.
we can joke around with it.
Okay. So...
But anyway, it's just a big long article describing how Union Pacific's going to go about doing this. And they hope to be more cooperative with Norfolk Southern this whole deal. Union Pacific also, ironically, wants to run more intermodal trains every day to balance their network.
That's another precision thing. I've
You
heard of this
guys.
before.
That's not ironic.
I mean, they're trimming
context.
they're trimming intermodal stuff and wanting to run intermodal trains. I suppose that's sort of irony.
Yeah, there's a little bit of irony in there. Not much, but some.
Yeah. There's explainable reasons for both of those things. They want to run more intermodal trains to keep things balanced out, as the doctrine of precision scheduled railroading says. But that means they are running them in these main corridors and not, in these little backwater places like Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah, like Salt Lake City and Denver and places you've never heard of.
Yeah.
Oh. But anyways, it's all part of the same operating plan, which they've called the Unified Plan 2020.
It sounds oddly Orwellian.
The Unified Plan.
The Unified Plan.
Who's the CEO of Union Pacific? Are we going to see him on the presidential ballot?
God.
Yancey Fritz, I think, is his name.
Okay.
But anyways, BNSF still has their heads screwed on straight as they're in a little bit of a dispute with J.B. Hunt, which is a container company.
Sounds like they're not really having their heads on straight for this dispute. What's the dispute about?
The dispute is it doesn't cut to the chase, Al.
No, I'm looking at it. It really does not.
Yeah.
All right, you can read about this in the cargoes. There's definitely a dispute going on. It's between them and some other ways. It has to be. It has to do with a revenue split between the two.
Yeah.
It appears, where it went 52-48 in favor of BNSF instead of a 50-50 split. So they're upset. They're angry.
Angry.
Okay, segue on to angry.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking, who else is angry? Well, there are people that are probably angry. Well, there are people that almost certainly were angry because there was a suit against Brightline, because of course there's a suit against Brightline. But thankfully, a court threw it out so that Brightline can continue building. So a judge threw out the latest in a series of lawsuits against Brightline, or Virgin Trains USA, seeking to stop the passenger service's expansion to Orlando. You know why? Because they didn't want it in their backyard. Which means that Brightline will be able to, well, I would say resume, but it's more like start their construction on its Orlando to West Palm route early this year now, early in the new year, early in 2019. So I'm excited for that because, as you guys know, I do have a love for Brightline, despite the fact that they keep murdering people and hitting people. It's not their fault, but they are doing something that's relatively unprecedented in the United States, at least in
private passenger rail.
Yeah, at least in recent times. In fact, they wanted more time to spend selling bonds for their next extension. So, but it doesn't look like they've been approved on that. Or people were trying to prevent them from doing that. Again, because people seem to not like them, maybe because they hit cars a lot, just like they did back on, when was this? December 26th. Yeah, they hit a car. There were 2 people inside the car. I don't know why they were still inside the car. Maybe they just went around the gates and got hit, although that appears to be what happened. Authorities are now investigating what happened. It doesn't say, but they weren't dead. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah, that is good. But it's almost as if those flashing lights and descending gates are there to stop you from doing something like that. It's almost the level of stupid as the guy riding on the train. Like, I feel like it's definitely less stupid than that guy because, wow, that's another level. But,
yeah,
like,
it's still not very intelligent.
The train will beat you into a pulp. Because it's a train. It's big and heavy and doesn't stop quickly.
I still don't know why people are not like
crossings. This is an actually rival you should cover, but I'm covering it because I rode on it.
Yeah. In fairness, because you've ridden it, you probably know more about it than I do.
Well, he definitely, Chris, you definitely came into the call like I understand.
The FRA wants to close down Denver RTD's train to the airport because of crossing safety. And I will say, after riding on it, his car broke down.
Press F to pay respects.
Yep.
Hey, the truck is back in action.
Okay.
Which is great. Congratulations. But after riding on it, I can see why they want to. The crossings are not set up for 40, 50 mile an hour running. There are 4-lane boulevards that only have 2 sets of gates. It's not the 4 sets, it's just two gates, which is not legal under the FRA. There's also crossings that are going down as we're going across it, and I'm in like the 3rd car of a 3-car train. So it's
when
not
you put
set
the
up
triggers
for
too
40,
close.
50 mile an hour running. So
Exactly.
it is that it's bad. However, this article is not about that, but that's just my review of the Denver A line. According to Trains Magazine, the Denver Post reports the RTD told the FRA a software patch is coming to fix the problems. Honey, I don't think a software patch is going to fix redoing relays. But apparently tall buildings block the GPS system that allow the crossing gates to operate. What the fuck?
I'm also not sure about that, considering for most of where the A-lines have been having problems, there are no tall buildings. It's often like Aurora.
It's all the industrial. The only place where there's tall buildings is right as soon as you leave, and there's no crossings there.
Right, because it's Union Station.
Yeah, the issue was revealed in an action plan. The RTD was requested to file with the FRA by December 15th to show its efforts into resolving the crossing gate issues, which have existed on the airport line since 2016. Oh boy. In November, the letter to the FRA said they might have to revoke the waiver if they don't receive plan by the deadline. The RTD plan also asked the FRA to grant a similar waiver to allow the start of the G line, which was supposed to open in 2016. The complete plan is available there in the cargoes if you'd like. However, I don't think the FRA is really going to be doing anything because the government is shut down as we speak. So.
Oh yeah, and while because you mentioned that, there's a couple of important things. Well,
yes.
There are two very brief things that I don't actually think I have links for. One is, of course, Steamtown is closed.
Yay! Steamtown is closed!
Second of all, it's not an event, Chris. It's just the government's shut down. Second of all,
today is.
Well, today is, but that's not what I'm talking about. The other thing is that they had to cancel their winter Steam celebration at the Golden Spike at Promontory because of the shutdown.
Yeah.
The other thing is, Kevon lamenting about this was what let me know about it. So the FRA is supposed to come and do the final inspection on TexRail before they start on Saturday. Unfortunately, they can't do that right now for obvious reasons, and they've been doing test runs. They even did an inaugural test run thing, but they aren't certified yet. So who knows whether they're actually going to be able to run. We'll see how long this thing lasts, and we'll see how upset Kevon gets about this whole situation, because it's fun to hear about. I'm just glad I'm not in his position. It's got to be one of the most annoying situations to be in. Also, he was like, we're screwed. They're going to put in a bus connection to the stockyards. We're screwed. So the commuter rail is basically taking literally all of their business. So, that is if they ever run. So,
yeah.
There'll be a link to an article about the inaugural run and about the holdup down in the cargoes, of course, as you might expect. But time will tell if TexRail actually gets anywhere in the near future.
Speaking of shitty situations, and I really should have done this with Hunter Harrison, but the shareholders of CSX are suing the board of directors over Hunter Harrison's hiring.
I was about to say, can't we let a dead man can't we just give a dead man his piece? And then I realized we made fun of him like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, we just made a joke about how he died due to his massive falls.
If you don't remember, Hunter Harrison was hired and then died 8 months later because he was hired in Portis. They spent $84 million to hire him.
Wow.
Oh yeah, they gave him this massive package to go with his huge balls.
Three shareholders filed a suit.
To go with his.
Okay.
Is that what you said?
3 shareholders filed a suit against the board, arguing they committed misconduct in hiring Harrison and not sharing information about Harrison's health with shareholders before a 2017 vote to pay for $84 million benefits for Harrison.
To be fair,
CSX
I don't think they would be
suing itself.
I don't think they would be upset if he's still alive. First of all, I think that's the obvious conclusion. Second of all, they're upset that they didn't disclose information about his health to the board when they hired him. I don't think anyone would have hired him if they thought he was going to die in 8 months.
I'm pretty sure that was why they didn't say that. His health condition was known about. That's what these people were arguing, and they're angry because
they weren't informed about it.
Apparently, it was known about. You just said it was known about.
Well, yeah, it was known condition with him. I mean, obviously, it wasn't public. However, it was known. It was known that.
Yeah, but the question remains: why'd they hire him? If they thought if they knew and didn't disclose, why did they hire him? Because I'm not certain that they would. Part of me is thinking maybe they were just in the dark as anybody else is.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Either way.
Maybe I'm playing idiot's advocate.
Going on the CSX thing. We're going to continue those because I have 3 articles with CSX.
Oh, yeah.
The Howard Street Tunnel expansion is back on as CSX returns to the table with $91 million. Oh,
yeah, I think we remembered I think we talked about the argument about this situation, 2 years ago, something like that.
The Howard Street Tunnel is the main tunnel in underneath Baltimore.
Yeah.
And it is very small. It cannot handle double stacks. So they're going to expand it and reinforce it and other things like that.
And there's no way this can go wrong. Also.
Yeah. So, they've offered $91 million, which is pretty cool. Going on that, if you remember a while ago, CSX was selling off some lines, and they sold off the line between Jacksonville, Florida, and or Baldwin, Florida, just west of Jacksonville, and Pensacola, Florida, along with a little connection into Georgia, which is now going to become the Florida Gulf and Atlantic Railroad. However, CSX will retain trackage rights over the railroad.
They can have their cake and not pay maintenance on it either.
Yes.
So, speaking of which, you bring that up, it always makes me think of the loss of the Sunset Limited over that stretch, which is sad. But we're doubtful to lose anything else anytime soon, especially considering that the most in danger route, which is the Southwest Chief, as many know, is on the verge of getting a federal grant to pay for PTC over part of it. And that would be
Can I have your semaphore?
That would be a $9.16 million Consolidated Rail Infrastructure and Safety Improvement Grant, which will cover the installation, which covers trackage that hosts BNSF freight traffic as well as the Chief. So that's not Raton. That's not Raton Pass, probably because nobody really cares. It's just the Chief out there. And they're getting to the point where they can't go that fast through there anyway. So I don't think we're going to see the end of the semaphores anytime soon, but getting this bill out definitely helps. Definitely helps the Chief, because the fewer reasons there are to discontinue it, the better. Now we're looking at something in the other direction, though, with the Northeast Corridor. Now, obviously, is there a reason to discontinue service on the Northeast Corridor from like a fiscal point of view or an infrastructure? No, there isn't. Obviously, that's Amtrak's moneymaker. However, it won't make any money if it's underwater. So, looking at the Northeast Corridor versus the ocean that it's next to for most of it, there could be some areas that are getting in trouble in the near future. And in fact, there are some infographics here on this Bloomberg article that show how sea level rise may affect the metropolitan areas and the track itself that runs through them along the Northeast Corridor. The real striking thing, though, is not, oh, hey, maybe we'll have to move this track. It's Amtrak's National Operations Center and Amtrak's Training Center are going to be underwater.
Oh, no.
There's only one road to get to the training center, and it already floods regularly on days without rain.
Oh.
So, there's...
God damn it, you pieces of shit.
There's gonna be some work that has to be done before the ocean consumes Amtrak.
I have to build a whole bridge or something.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea.
You know what? I think we're gonna have to build a wall and make the ocean and make the Atlanteans pay for it.
God damn Atlantic, and they can slip into
Make Atlanta pay for it, Wade.
Make Atlanta pay for it. Suddenly the mayor of Atlanta gets this giant bill. Like, what? No, you have the wrong guy, I swear. As a side note, though, very far from the ocean, out in Michigan, there are planners that are trying to keep a passenger train operating between Chicago and Grand Rapids. I'm not sure what the actual...
I think it's just the Michigan corridor.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. Well, that's what they're saying here. They're passing resolutions in support of the what is it? Pere Marquette? Yeah. Amtrak train. So, a recommendation was also made to increase service by connecting tracks to New Buffalo. So, they want to increase service here and maintain it, and I'm not sure, I don't think there's any immediate threat to these, but it is nice to see, communities sort of pledging their support of their local Amtrak service. That said, there are people that are not supporting their local Amtrak service, and those people are CTDOT, because they are in dispute over them, or, over the service that happens in conjunction with the Hartford line. When they launched the Hartford line, which runs between New Haven, Connecticut, and goes north through Hartford, as you might expect, all the way up to Springfield, Massachusetts. It goes this corridor up the middle of the state. When they launched it, they said, one ticket, any train. Now, Amtrak already runs that service, so that would mean if you have a CT Rail ticket, a ticket for the Hartford line, you can get on one of the Amtrak trains. Well, at least not the Vermonter. Any of the shuttles that go between those two locations and stop in pretty much the same spots. Amtrak has been refusing a lot of those passengers, in part because they don't have the capacity. Now, here's the thing. CT Dot is obviously kind of annoyed at their refusal of the, at their refusal of giving passengers a seat that paid for a ticket. That said, Amtrak doesn't do standees. Amtrak is not a commuter service, as much as some people do treat it that way, or a trolley service. You need to sit down on the Amtrak train. So, if they don't have space, they can't let you on. As much, and they're upset that this is a violation of this agreement, but I'm not really sure what you expected, guys. The shuttle trains that Amtrak runs are like 2 cars long, because they just nobody buys a ticket for those. It's a niche service that only runs a couple times a day. In conjunction with the Hartford line, there are more trains, but on the whole, Amtrak really isn't responding to that. They're still doing their own thing. So, I don't know. We'll see how this turns out, but. Yeah, Amtrak doesn't do standees. What's amazing is I saw somebody on Reddit, somebody asked, like, what's an easy way to get from Providence to New Haven? And people were suggesting hopping on an Acela without paying, because it only stops once in between those two locations. And I was like, holy cow, and it was like this long post. It was this multi-paragraph post about how to do it without getting caught. And I'm like,
wow.
Like, damn, this person does it. This person knows what they're doing. That's kind of...
Except for. He's going to throw him off the back end. It's standard procedure.
It's standard procedure.
No.
Where's the back end?
You can't throw somebody off the
back end. That's also a valid point.
Can't throw you off the back end if there is no back end. Taps forehead.
You can't throw him off the back end if there is a back end,
You're
right.
Just throws him out the middle.
Yes.
We have 2 fronts and no backs, so we'll pick the middle to be the ass.
Cat dog.
Yes.
Try to make an Amtrak
cat dog
train.
Yeah. Yeah, what about the Cascades?
They had minor derailment on train 516, which is the Seattle to Vancouver train.
Was anybody hurt?
It derailed 3 cars. No one got hurt.
Oh, okay.
But the timing of it was sad because there was a year of Saki after the big one that they had in DuPont, Washington.
I can't believe that was a year ago.
And it's still under investigation.
Well, remember what I said at the beginning of the show? Of course it is. But
Yeah.
So, and there's another article that's in the We Hate It notes for this one. After derailment set back the Cascades by years.
Mm-hmm.
It's
a shame. It really is.
Holy shit, this article has a gold mine of other articles about...
Alright, well, let's move on to some other people's articles.
Yes.
So let's double back some.
Uh-oh.
Update as of 4 days ago, 5 days ago, 6 days ago? Who knows? The FRA has allowed Denver's RTD to proceed with its corrective plan.
Its corrective software?
Yes.
Well, I hope it works.
That Chris has, said earlier in the podcast, there's no way that the FRA is going to let them do this. They have let them do it.
Let them do it. Well, let's see if it works. I mean, how many people is the
I
A-line...
blame Ram.
Hold on. How many people is the A-line hit?
None.
Well, and I don't see Brightline having to do any software updates.
It is safer than Brightline statistically speaking.
Well, if you're outside the train. It's the same if you're inside.
True.
Although, wait, wasn't there, some rowdy dude on Brightline that had to get taken off in cuffs, or I'm thinking of a different train? I don't know.
I mean, it's Florida.
That doesn't surprise me. Florida man.
They inserted bleach in the bar car. Come on.
Just put it on the floor.
The entirety of Brightline is just a Darwin test.
Yes.
Anyway.
So, what the hell was it?
I thought you were... Okay.
While we're thinking, we're on passenger trains. I have 2 articles about Pennsylvania and passenger trains.
Yay!
Phoenixville, which it's been
Not in
a
Arizona.
long time since.
Yep.
No, yeah, since 1985, people have wanted rail service back to Reading up the Schuylkill Valley from Philadelphia, and so far we've achieved as far as Phoenixville, which is about halfway between Reading and Philadelphia along the Schuylkill. Norristown High Speed as well is something new. There's a proposal to get Phoenixville online, and it's like mostly done. So we're slowly moving up the corridor, and this is something that's been needed because it wasn't needed then because there wasn't a lot of commuters to Philadelphia from Reading. However, you can't move on the Schuylkill Expressway anymore. You just can't. It's just constant gridlock. Period.
Yeah.
So it is desperately needed. But the problem is, and this is what they're running into, is the line which would be the best suited, which would have been the Pennsylvania Railroad Schuylkill branch, has been torn out since 1960 something.
Well, that's a shame.
It wasn't torn out by Penn Central. It was actually torn out by the Pennsy because it was so garbage. It didn't have any freight. So
There was nothing to do here.
there's nothing to do there. And the reason why that's best suited is simply because it runs right into 30th Street. It goes through all of the little towns. It doesn't skip places like the Reading's main line does. Mm-hmm. So it's perfect for a commuter route because it goes to every town.
And so what, are they rebuilding it?
No.
Oh.
It is actually it is completely a trail. Which is,
Okay, I thought
eminent domain, motherfucker.
Well,
okay, but it's been gone since 1960. Listen.
Well, they've also been doing the majority of it is a trail, not all of it, but the majority of it. They have been doing rails with trails, and once you get right around Norristown, like a little bit south of there, then it starts to get a little hazy of where the trail goes because it doesn't go on the railroad right of way, because the line just a little bit south of Norristown was always kept in by the Pennsy. It was kept in because there was customers there. It was past there. So they're doing a sort of a faux rails with trails and using the existing rail now. It's a really weird thing of how they're trying to do it.
But they are rebuilding it then?
Sort of. They're rebuilding some sections that are optimal.
Okay. I mean, sure, whatever, cool.
There are plans in place, and going on to the next article, which is the train to Reading. Now, the problem is that there's no way in hell they would ever string electrical wires over the mainline railroad.
Boo.
Well, that's because they run double stacks.
Oh. Well, yeah, that's kind of an issue now, isn't it?
They kind of physically can, and SEPTA doesn't really want to.
Not with that. Not with that.
Just drop the pan when you're going over the main line, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
No, you need the thing.
SEPTA,
you need the thing that Weibold had out in Colorado, where the wire is off to the side.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But
how about a third rail? That'll do great with a rail with trails.
Apparently,
when you crash your bike and die by being electrocuted.
Yeah. Apparently the story for the Reading one actually doesn't exist anymore. But it's basically people they've conducted studies upon studies upon studies. They've wasted millions of dollars on studies, and they all come back with the same answer of, well, we don't know. It's some of them are guesses.
Well, you're waiting for a conclusive. You're waiting for like a real look at it. Just to wave it in everyone's faces. Wave it in the taxpayers' faces. Wave it in the civil engineers' faces. Wave it in the politicians' faces. Like, look, this is indisputable, and that's a really hard thing to come by.
It's not indisputable because sometimes the study says yes, sometimes it says no, and everyone flip flops. Mm-hmm. But the fact remains, as I said, is that 422 and the Schuylkill Expressway are completely jammed. You cannot move. It is gridlock 100%.
Hey, and if anyone's ever played City Skylines, you know at some point you can't just build more roads.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
You can always build more roads.
So it's
go to Toronto and tell them that.
It's reached the point where they need to make a conclusion, and it's really looking like there will be possibly something to Philadelphia. But as I said, SEPTA is slowly moving forward to get toward Reading. They're slowly getting there. Maybe by the time I'm dead, they'll be there. But until SEPTA decides they want to do, okay, we'll do diesels. They're not doing anything. Nothing's going to happen.
It's funny you mentioned SEPTA and their love for their electrics, right? So we said farewell to the SEPTA AEM 7s very recently. I think it was on last episode we talked about their farewell run. But they're not dead yet. They're getting a lease on life by being leased to New Jersey Transit.
Give them a point.
What?
That pun.
I didn't mean to. It says they get a second lease on life in the title of the article.
Uh-huh.
I didn't come up with this. Fine, you can give me a point if you want to, but it was not my...
I don't care. I personally, I like it.
It was not my pun. But...
Not my pun.
Knowledgeable observers spotted a string of so-called toasters on the southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority line before a move to New Jersey Transit just before Christmas. So that was their Christmas gift from Pennsylvania to New Jersey. Here are a bunch of toasters. Have some trains with them. And so that excites me because I like them. Toast forever.
Yeah.
Alright, what else?
Well, we were talking about federal funding for commuter rail projects, and TriMet, their Portland streetcars expanded. Which is their downtown network, pretty much. Mm-hmm. That's supposed to be lighter than light rail.
At what point? What?
Yeah.
Very light rail.
That's what the article describes it as.
At what point?
I'm very skeptical of that.
It's lighter than light rail. No, I think it's just called light rail still. It's still light rail.
So you're telling me I can run my streetcars on it just fine?
Listen, just because it's heavy rail doesn't mean you can run a Q2 on it, don't you?
Yeah.
STL rail.
You have to pay attention to the little number there on the piece of metal and says how heavy it is.
Well, I would love to know that, but it's in the middle of the street.
Well, jackhammers exist.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, some of this new line follows the old Portland tracks, and from what I can tell, so that's cool. And they, from what I can tell, they're double tracking most of it, except for this little loop to Montgomery Park. And this is all kind of by Union Station.
In Portland?
To give you a general idea. Yeah, Portland. It's only a 2.3 mile loop, basically. So, they're building our museum times 2. Anyways, on to the streetcar network. St. Louis is down for maintenance this weekend, according to this article.
So probably like 2 weekends ago?
Yeah. Actually, no, it was this last weekend.
Oh, okay.
This last weekend. And the Loop Trolley ones, a few vintage trolleys, I believe 2 Melbourne cars, and 2 replica Council Crest cars that were certain to have gone to St. Louis, but that's the top for another day. But anyways, they just hope to get stuff done. But they have their heads held high, and I hope they do well.
Yeah, this is a relatively new thing for them, right? They just opened it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had test ones last week or something like that. Mm-hmm. And Amtrak is making handbags out of old train seats. Which,
I saw this.
I don't want one.
Weird flex, but okay.
Yeah, I don't want one. I really...
No, I'd rather have the train seat itself.
I mean, I'd rather not have anything made of train seat because, like, people sit on that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, it's really cool until you think about how many asses your handbag has.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, here, you want this? It's made for my old sofa. It's like, you don't know what I did on that sofa.
Even so, the sofa is not public. Like,
yeah, but that's worse.
Is it though? Think of the number of asses that have been on trains.
Okay, but it's like, that's that, but it's like, but how many people have probably had sex on it? Probably fewer, probably none. Ideally, none. The couch...
You say ideally, I'm not sure of that, though.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not sure of that. Because I rode across the country with my girlfriend. Anyway.
God.
and
she rode you across the country.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Demonetization.
Demonetized.
You mean we were making money?
Well,
I'm breaking up with you. We were dating?
Yes.
That's like that. What is that?
Futurama.
No. Different thing. It's I don't have a girlfriend, but I do know a girl who'd be very upset to hear me say that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of making money, the Albany and Eastern is running a dinner train that they happily named the Point Dinner Train. I don't know what point they're going to, but they're going to one.
They're just trying to make sure that there's
good.
no... they're just trying to make sure that it's not the
home.
pointless dinner train.
They're going to Sweet Home, which is the longer ride. That's like 3 hours. I went on it once, and it was incredible, and I recommend it. And if it coincides when we do a trip out here, we're doing it.
Okay. As long as the food's good.
They usually cater it, like get Subway or something.
No.
Oh,
So
actually
you're
no,
saying
it's
it's
Prime
fine.
Rib dinner. So, my bad. I don't know where the point is that they're referring to, but
There is no point.
there is no point to this. But there is a point to the San Maria Valley 21 restoration now. They're preparing for smokebox rivets, fitting with seats, and
Wait, did you say
preparing
seats?
and they're repairing. No,
Oh,
they don't soup yet
damn it.
in cup seats. But the smokebox braces are getting repaired. If you recall, this was the steam locomotive that we installed. Oh yeah, steering. Won't this year, unfortunately. Under restoration.
Mhm.
So good to see that they're doing stuff. With their steam engine, anyways.
Yeah. Well, you know what else
And
is under restoration?
Speaking of good stuff going on with their steam engines, the 223 project is at standstill right now.
Why is that a good thing?
Because of a little bit. I should segue to another. Okay. I didn't say that it was a good thing.
You said speaking of good things going on with steam engines.
Yeah. And followed by 223. No.
Oof.
I'll take L on that.
Maybe someday that engine will come back home.
Maybe.
Yeah. Right now it's in a little bit
we're
of
all
an ownership dispute.
Yep.
Which is now public knowledge thanks to this article, but it's been going on for quite a while.
Yeah, I
from
think
my
I remember
understanding.
O'Gilly's talking about it a while back.
And a while back I thought I mentioned an article about
About what?
but anyways, they're making what progress they can on it right now.
They're making very sneaky progress.
Yeah.
I was going to
Yeah,
say, I
but
thought they had a cease and desist.
Cease and desist never stopped anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only a
Yeah.
lawsuit, and, well, I guess that did stop these guys. So, up in North Creek, now we've talked about this before, so there's that rail bike thing that's running on the Saratoga and North Creek, and there is no more Saratoga and North Creek, but the tracks still exist, and the company that operates the rail bikes did sign a 5-year lease back in May 2017. Now,
Oh no.
yeah, so Revolution Rail Co. sued the owners of the Saratoga and North Creek in order to protect their lease so that they can keep running these rail bikes at least for the next 5 years. And
Okay, so it's a good lawsuit.
yeah, they're currently suing the owner of the line, claiming that an insurance dispute is being used as a pretext to derail it so the tracks can be sold to somebody else. So they don't like the idea of... So they're being sold to, allegedly, a Denver-based freight railroad. What that is, I don't know. But
what?
I know.
Well, it's Chicago-based.
And
right? Oh wait,
the claim is that. Oh, it's Omnitrax. Oh, god damn it.
Oh no! No.
Rest in peace.
They're also not Denver-based.
Yeah, I don't know. The claim is, quote, a mere pretext being used by the railroad so it can evict Dupee and sell the line, unencumbered by the lease, to Omnitrax. So
What do they want it for?
probably, if anything, if they want to do something with it, yeah, they're trying to. The goal is to remove the mine tailings from Tahawas. So
Okay.
that has been a lucrative thing that they've been wanting to do for a while. But I believe Omnitrax has some ties to Canadian Pacific. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think there's some ties there.
Because the Saratoga and North Creek connects to Canadian Pacific, and Canadian Pacific really didn't want anything to do with the Saratoga and North Creek. They were not very chummy, it would appear, because those mine tailings have been there and people have wanted to get them out for a while, because that could be a lucrative business. But now that Saratoga and North Creek and the company that owns them, which is Iowa Pacific, have basically said, yeah, we can't run this anymore. We're just not making any money. It's not worth it. We're shutting it down. We're going to sell it to Omnitrax. They don't want to sell it to Omnitrax with this rail bike thing sitting, because that means that Omnitrax would like to share the line with the rail bike company, or at least negotiate some sort of contract with them, which you probably don't want to do if you're trying to run a freight railroad with a freight railroad schedule. It's different if you're running a tourist operation with predictable seasons. So, this is really interesting. I didn't know about the whole thing with Omnitrax until now, and this is very interesting because I thought that the rail bike guys had just given up, thrown up their hands and said, I guess we're not doing this anymore, but that's not true. And it's funny because Iowa Pacific is trying to sell this thing to Omnitrax. Meanwhile, the state for several years has been trying to get control of the line from Iowa Pacific. So it's like a three-way or four-way if you include the rail bike guys as a separate person, or separate entity.
Which I would.
Competitor for this line. And this is really interesting. I want to see what happens. Maybe we'll end up with a freight railroad. Maybe somebody else will swoop in. Maybe we'll end up with a trail in the end, like we were talking about back years ago.
Right.
God knows.
Hopefully
maybe we'll end up with nothing. As I talked about the whole conspiracy theory with they want to get the rail trail people in power so that they take over the railroad and then undermine them so that they don't actually build anything, so that the whole corridor returns to nature. This whole thing, it's so complicated and weird with what's going on with the Saratoga and North Creek. But the point is, if you get the chance to ride these rail bikes, if they ever reopen, go up there and do it. Because you might not get the chance after that. But also, if you wanted to ride Amtrak, now we talked about my Amtrak and the lamentations I had about the P-42s breaking down and leaving us stranded in various places, such as the hills of West Virginia, Chicago Union Station, or, top of the list, the middle of the desert in Nevada.
New Mexico.
No, where was I? I don't know where I was. Arizona. I was like approaching Cajon Pass, somewhere out there. Way out west. So, in response to this, obviously, in direct response to my complaints on this podcast, Amtrak is ordering more chargers to improve their national network. And hopefully, they will run just a little bit better than their decades-old locomotives that keep breaking down and leaving people's places. So, this is a $850 million contract for 75 new locomotives and their associated services. So, awesome. Get the engines. And then we'll see what happens to the P-42s and stuff after this. I bet you a lot of them will be relegated to either relatively small corridor work, or like the bimodal engines will be stuck doing things like Empire Service. But we'll see. I don't know how big their fleet is in total, but 75 is a lot of locomotives. Anyway, more chargers.
I mean, their fleet is pretty big. Speaking of trails, I do not have a link for it. I'm going to have to go find it. The Bartram Trail, which is the trail we were talking about just a little bit ago, with Pennsylvania, has recently gotten an extension. Just a couple miles south of me. I'll actually be going there on Saturday. There's a place called Auburn, which the trail just ends in the middle of the woods. The way to get to it.
That's very convenient. Very, very nice.
Yeah. I mean, there's a way to get
like
to
a
it.
train
You gotta go down
map.
backwards. Like it's not conducive.
It's like a train.
And the main trouble with them is there's a property right next to the active railroad tracks. Because here to describe it, the Reading is down on the level, and the Pennsy is like 20 feet high on the side off to the right, and
As it
swings
should be.
over on a. It swings over on a bridge across the other side of the Reading. Well, on the other side of that bridge, so when you're looking at the left side of it, there's a property there who, since they used eminent domain and quick claim deeds,
Eminent
after
domain.
the railroad folded, they were able to get that property back.
Oh.
And they do not like anyone. They don't. You go up to the door, you're greeted with a shotgun.
Sounds great.
They're one of those people. So that's the trail people have been fighting with them for years, since the dawn of time, just to say, look, we'll make it this small. Just let us go. No. So they found a way around. They're going to redeck the part of the bridge that goes across the river, and it goes into a small, very, very small, like 20 feet long embankment, and then the other bridge starts over the railroad tracks. So they're going to redeck it across the river, build a landing, go down on the rack, cross the railroad at grade, go around the property, go back up, and then onto the right-of-way and continue on.
Ow.
In truth, the most convoluted way to get around a property ever. Also, should I mention this is all in swamp?
Great. Goodness gracious.
And
well,
they have started on it. They've opened it, which I'm really supportive of it, because it sucks. Because the end of the trail is literally in the middle of fucking nowhere. There's no way to get.
outstanding move.
So now they'll actually be
Checkmate,
like car
trail
park and stuff
people.
there, so it'll be nice. So, okay. Speaking of steam engines, which has nothing to do with anything.
Do we not have any steam engines? We have steam engines.
Skookum.
Skoogum!
Get scooped.
You stole my news.
Skoogum!
Is going on an adventure.
Yay!
After somehow magically fixed the origami valve gear. They were going
got
to
a good
run
shop
up
crew.
at the Oregon Coast Scenic, and are going to go to the Niles Canyon Railway for the rest of 2019. Apparently, they think the way they're looking to do it is do as a traveling locomotive. But Skookum is going to help bring in the 2019 150th out there at Niles, which is really good.
Doing the double
They're
head
going to be
with
doing a
their,
steampunk festival in June. Seems like stems type stuff and
STEM type stuff and art.
Lots of cool stuff. They're also going to be in July reintroducing to the world the Crows.
The Crows!
Milky, I'll let you get that. So, yes. So they're going to be doing stuff in September as well, which the last link of the Transcontinental from Sacramento to Oakland via the Niles Canyon took place on September 6, 1869. They're going to be doing a lot of stuff to do with that. So there are still apparently, and of course Trains Magazine has to sell their own photo charter March 14th and 15th. There are like a dozen tickets left, so you can spend like $500,000. You can mortgage your house.
And have enough money for this double Malay charter.
Yeah,
Where are you gonna put it?
no, that's on the Niles
Oh,
Canyon.
sorry.
Where there'll be one on 2 updates in May and September. It's gotta be May.
It's good.
Malalet.
Speaking of other steam engines, the Huber Breaker Preservation Society is looking to finally acquire Wanami Number 9, which is one of the last commercial locomotives in the United States. A 42-inch mining locomotive in some museum in the middle of nowhere. I have no idea what they're planning to do with it. They want to restore it to operation. I have no idea at all.
I have no idea at all.
I don't know who's involved with this. Good for them.
Congrats.
Don't blow it up.
I'd like to point out that we stored operating condition.
Hold on. What? Real quick, second, Milky. I'd like to point out that the Huber Breaker Preservation Society is so adept at preserving things that the actual namesake of the society, the Huber Breaker, has been torn down for about 10 years now. Yeah. I'd just like to say that. They're really adept at saving things, that their namesake has been dead. So, okay, you can continue, Milky.
Anyways, the Kraus New Year, Christmas update. They've been working on getting their number 2 Maybach engine running. Maybach. It does run, and they're currently finishing up, so that way they can get.
Give me Kraus.
Yeah.
Give me Kraus! 9!
It's incredible because
I don't want to see a thing run over Moffat for no reason.
I just want to see it run anywhere.
I just want to see it move under its own power.
Oh.
They got $23,000 worth of parts and special engine tools this year. Which is good on them. You need to do stuff when you're doing a restoration of this rare of a beast.
This rare.
Yeah.
This rare.
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 God damn it. Well, anyways, that's all that I have on C. Kraus. And that's all my news.
Alright.
Are we done?
No, hold on.
But wait, there's more.
Speed round.
Alright.
Carry on.
What about you? You haven't interjected at all. You need to speak up.
Yeah.
If you want to say one of your things.
Oh, man.
What do you want to talk about? You got some things.
Do yours.
Okay, so hang on. In Jackson, there has been a low bridge which has been taken off the roofs of box trucks that keep trying and get through, even though there's a clear bridge that says "Don't come through." There's tons of videos.
Those are some of my favorite things on earth.
Yeah, there's tons of YouTube you can just find, and there'll be just tons of videos and like clips. And apparently, a U-Haul truck hit the low bridge, and another one came, and another one.
Yeah, no.
And they've had enough, and so they're going to start targeting them all and taking them all up and raising them, pretty much.
Nice.
Or they're going to take them out altogether. So
I like this line here. Quote, "It was built before cars. We got pictures of horse and buggies going underneath the structure."
Yeah, they didn't have limits back then, and they do $5 billion one in. So
wow.
Yeah, starts midsummer 2020.
Yeah. Wow, it's amazing. Like you see that the most famous of these is 11'8", which is in Durham, North Carolina, and it has its own website and its own subreddit and everything.
Yeah, it's great.
And the thing is, they can't raise the thing because there's a railroad crossing, 50 yards from where the bridge is, so they just can't raise it. They can't do anything about it, and they can't lower the road because there's a sewer main right underneath it, so you're stuck with it.
Yeah. The most inconvenient thing ever.
Yeah. It's just amazing to watch people slam into the bridge. It's my favorite thing.
On the talk about New Year's and the fact that Christmas has just passed, we have got a model train Christmas, because model trains continue to spark the joy at Christmas. Everyone wants a train, apparently. So
I always set up a train at my aunt's house at Christmas.
Yeah, business is good, apparently.
Yeah.
A lot of quotes say, I think if parents could buy them in, then all children really want to kick out of it.
Yeah.
It's
Like
fun.
almost everybody on the train. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Childhood thing.
Ow.
What is that noise?
Ow.
Who's shuffling
sorry.
their mic around?
Alright.
Well,
Well,
Another thing, or the final thing, because I'm going to go quiet again after this. All the way in the UK, the new Class 800s have finally came, and they finally arrived, and they've opened up more than 10,000 extra seats. So,
holy crap.
yeah. 658 new carriages since
Wow.
past 18 months.
What are those for?
Wow.
Basically, the Intercity 125s, which are like Class 40.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
They-
that's one thing we know.
Yeah, they had to be taken out until they've been replaced by Class 800s, which are made in Japan, I think.
Those are the Hitachi things?
Yeah.
No,
The
that's
things that
my
make it rain when you turn on the air conditioning?
Pretty.
Yeah, didn't we talk about that? Like,
Those things?
Yeah.
no, they're
Right.
fine. Everything's good. Make it rain.
Literally, I press the button, it just goes everywhere. And then, like, chills out, and it's really anything. But yeah, they've finally got all the coaches in now, so, great.
Awesome. Well,
Cool.
anyway, all right. Let's do a lightning round. Anything that really needs to be covered. If not, we'll move on to
Yes.
to our favorite section here.
lightning round. Strasbourg, name new leaders. The board of directors has announced that Craig Leifer as its president and Rick Musser as the CMO. Those were both previously held by Lynn. Supposedly, I've heard that one of them, I believe Rick, is going to step down in March,
Oh,
but I'm not sure. Don't trust that source. So either way, that things. Well, that's not my news. Up at the Star Barn in Elizabethtown near Strasbourg, as a matter of fact, someplace I need to get to. Leviathan, 63, as you may remember, was bought by them. And they also have acquired a Lincoln funeral car, and they are going to do an event on April 22nd to commemorate the Lincoln funeral train, which is actually really... It's going to be redecorated as the PRR engine, repainted, everything.
ooh, I want to see that.
The whole of everything. Which the cool thing about that, the cool thing about that, the engine there, Leviathan, and where it's located is the Star Barn is right next to the Pennsy Main, which Lincoln actually traveled on his funeral train route.
Mhm.
It's like not even half a mile away from it, which is really neat.
That's pretty neat.
K&L released two things. They released a Potomac and a reskin of the Russian Decapod. Transport Fever released a thank you patch, and I don't give a shit about that last one. There we go. We're
Why
done.
did you take it then?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I haven't gotten to play Transport Fever lately, but the patch is like something like, ooh, like that's fun. And oh crap, I didn't do it. They had a sale on everything, like a New Year's sale on K&L trains. It might still be up. Everything was on sale, literally
Pretty sure
everything,
it is,
and I had
yeah.
to resist. I had to resist, and the only reason that I resisted
Hand
and
bite.
didn't blow all of my most recent paycheck on K&L trains is because Trains 2019 came out, and I spent the money on that instead.
Taps forehead.
Yeah, so I haven't installed it yet, but I did buy it before the new year came in because it came with a free Sally. And
Ooh.
yes, K&L did put out a Sally as well, and I'm probably going to get both of them because they both look very good, but they both look quite different. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. It's really interesting, and I can't wait to play around with Trains 2019, and I can't wait to bring Tolbrin into it and see if it performs any better, because I've heard that it's a much more optimized game than Tane is. So,
Yeah.
It is.
yeah. So I can't wait
Tane-
to get them installed. But,
Would you say 2019 is like a better version of Tane, or would you say like different?
Yeah, I would say that.
yeah, it's Milky and Wybold both. You guys both have it, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I beta tested.
Yeah,
the shit
they
out
beta
of
tested.
It is much better optimized. Would that be correct? It's much better optimized?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound quite right, but I
it doesn't
suppose it
sound
is.
right, but I think it's right. I don't know.
I think
Yeah.
it is too. Anyway, it's much better optimized than Tane. Tane ran like garbage when it first released.
I know.
Tane, when the beta came out, I was like, well, I guess I'll have to wait a few years for this.
Yeah,
Just
19
about.
not only looks better than Tane does, I think it runs better currently than Tane does.
Yeah, it does.
And Trains 2019 actually has a rail yard now. Woohoo!
Oh yeah, we get rail yard back.
Yeah.
I missed that.
But I mean, I found that not having a rail yard doesn't really matter when you can run Surveyor and the content manager at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
God, so nice.
You know, it doesn't, like, I didn't miss it. I didn't miss rail yard, but
still
it is a nice thing to have.
Yeah, it's nice.
Anyway.
But plus you can have web train in the background because the rail yard is now the main menu in this.
Oh yeah, that is. Cool.
Is it? That's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Unfortunately, you can't customize it to my knowledge, but you might be able to now. I haven't dipped around with it.
Like the main menu is actually a rendered in sort of map of its own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, I believe you should test that.
Interesting.
Apparently
you
on
can edit it.
2019,
Because in Troy 19, you can add everything. Sorry.
What'd you say,
go
Howard?
ahead.
apparently on Trains 19, apparently a plane comes with it. If you look on the list,
Oh yeah, I saw
yeah,
that. There is a plane.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's a frame that does come with.
And if you need something else, the Titanic is always on the download station,
Yep.
As well as the beat truck.
as well as the beat truck
The beat-
and some other
And the
stuff. I found.
drivable worker.
Yeah, no. For filming To Rule the World, I found a drivable dump truck. So
Huh.
that's
Nice.
super helpful. I was like, oh god, we're gonna have to do Gmod composite scenes for all these truck scenes. I was gonna hate myself. But anyway, all right. Well,
You shouldn't hate yourself, you should hate me.
I already hate you.
Well, yeah, but more.
Anyway, all right. Any other really important lightning round stuff we want to cover?
I'll quickly run through what I had. So, Via Rail recently just got Lego to help promotionalize their stuff, I'm pretty sure.
Which is awesome.
I think
yeah,
that's just
commuter horn testing, pretty much making sure it's not loud enough, but not quite enough, they can't hear it, stuff like that, you know. California Train makes a billion stuff, but no one uses it, and so it's kind of pointless right now.
Nobody uses it because it's not built yet. They're just annoyed.
Yeah.
Like, get over it. It'll be done, and then it'll be great.
It's pumping billions into the market. And somewhere in London there's like railway home space of all places, I'm pretty sure. And then new trains that were built. They were built. Sydney somewhere, yeah, whatever. They graffitied. And then a train by Metrorail hits someone.
That happens.
Yeah.
They're not dead, if I
Miami.
recall.
No.
That's-
And then also Chicago cops got hit by a metro train because they apparently couldn't hear it.
Well, if I recall correctly, they were chasing somebody down, and they got hit by the train in the middle of the pursuit.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
If I may interject, the Via Rail Lego thing is satirical.
Oh, really? That's so disappointing.
Oh,
Yes.
That's so
Not
disappointing.
an actual thing.
The article was like I read the article and it seemed like yeah, okay, they're obviously making fun of the fact that because it starts with like major blow to Bombardier is Lego blah blah blah, and I was like yeah, very funny, but like
yeah.
Right.
I was really hoping that it was like obviously we have we're making Lego Via Rail trains. Obviously, it's not an actual blow to Bombardier. I thought that was
that's
the
what
right.
It's like, whoa.
No, it's satirical.
the fact that the whole thing is satirical is really disappointing to me. Like I thought the concept was, but we were actually getting Lego Via Rail trains. At any rate, you can see a Lego Via Rail train in the article. So you know what? There's they should definitely be making these anyway.
That's what I saw, yeah.
Sure.
Even if it was an MOC, it looks pretty good. So.
Yeah, I agree. Now, anyway, let's do a very, very brief 2018 in review lightning round. So, this is a list of top stories of 2018, not quite top stories. And there's a picture of Donald Trump on the top of the article for some reason. Nope, I cannot answer that. Anyway, we're looking at California High-Speed Rail. Also, CT Rail Hartford Service, which we talked about. CSX spinning off its short lines. Infrastructure inactions, as in nothing on the tunnels and stuff like that. We've talked about that at length. The Lac Megantic trial and the anniversary of the crude oil wreck. This was the 5th anniversary. Legal issues for the engineer of Amtrak 188, which was that train wreck near Philadelphia 3 years ago. It doesn't feel like 3 years ago.
Doesn't.
He will stand trial in September of this year, 2019. Locomotive rebuilds, passenger fatalities worldwide, talking like India, Morocco, Taiwan, Turkey, that killed over 90 people. And we talked about them occasionally when a major crash like that came up. The announcement that, this Bible, do you still have this article? The announcement that Pikes Peak will be reopening in 2021 after a construction project begins in spring of this year. And there's a proposed merger between Siemens and Alstom, which is...
That's interesting.
Yeah, that could be real big news if it goes through. Big changes in rail executives, including the death of Hunter Harrison, as we talked about. The rise of streetcars, many new streetcars. New articulateds that are running. The rebuild of 4014, which isn't done yet. Or 1309, which also isn't done yet. But Skookum, which is done yet. And then...
It is.
Rail service returning
to... surprises.
Rail service returning to Churchill, Manitoba, which we talked about. The cross-continent railroad. The Union Pacific 844 fatality, unfortunately. The Wabtec and GE merger. And
very interesting.
The surprise 4449 run
for an IMAX movie.
So there's that. And I'll bet you Madison keeps calling me because she's locked outside.
Oh no!
She just got back from work and the door is locked.
Terminus.
So
go unlock the door!
I will. And you guys think about what you guys think is the latest train on Amtrak. Feel free to brief Howler on the situation. I'm not sure you know what Amtrak trains are available. You can guess just a random number between 1 and
I'm just going to say the...
Alright, hold that thought. I will be right back.
Okay, we'll hold that thought intact.
I'm holding it in my hands.
Apparently, this is something I've just found, because this is why you poke around during the podcast, because you find amazing things like this. Apparently, you can get a master's degree in railway studies from the University of York online.
Really?
York?
Apparently.
Well, which York? Like UK York?
Which York?
Like your York.
Well,
Which York?
Yeah.
Your York, in answer to the British guy.
Okay.
Alright, so, do you guys have your guesses?
Yes.
Alright.
Yep.
Wybold, what's yours?
Westbound Sunset Limited.
Westbound Sunset Limited. Okay, that's a good one. Sunset Limited has problems. Alright, Milky?
Northbound Coast Starlight.
Northbound Coast Starlight. You're going to try that until you get it, because the times you don't, it's when it gets you. Alright, Chris?
Soviet Russia.
Southbound Crescent.
Southbound Crescent, okay. Howler, do you have one?
no, I don't have one.
Alright, we won't worry about you then. You're not liable to know these trains. Okay, so, the Southbound Crescent is actually almost at New Orleans. It's an hour and 42 minutes late.
Aww.
The Westbound Sunset Limited to Los Angeles is an hour and 4 minutes late. The northbound Coast Starlight is 1 hour late.
Damn.
And let me check these other ones real quick, because there are no trains in the black delay, which means they're all under 3 hours late, and I didn't check them all before I did this. However, there is one that is almost 3 hours late, and it was not chosen. It is the westbound Southwest Chief. Which is 2 hours and 56 minutes late, and it hasn't even left the state of Illinois.
Ooh.
Jesus.
Yeah, something happened.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Something happened.
There is a snowstorm sort of moving across the country right now.
Okay, yeah, it was on time, 3 hours late. And it's at its
That's why I
stop.
guess the sunset. I should have gone with the Chief.
Yeah. Well, I mean, both of the westbound Chiefs are late, but that one is much worse.
Yeah.
Also, 4 is on Raton right now, which is kind of funny. And it's almost off. Alright, anyway, that is the latest train on Amtrak. And with that, we round out this episode of the Terminus podcast. And let's have our final words. Leibold?
I had something for this. What did I post?
You posted
Oh yes. Engineering, I find this funny.
I'll have to see what this is. Let me see. It's on the engineering students subreddit, which I didn't know about until I was... Okay. I get it. I would like to say that Nathan is putting on videos again! We're getting Rails of War videos!
Sound like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I want to see videos of Rails of War! Alright, Milky, what do you have?
But you want to see? But you want to know what videos I want to see? Blasting on 223.
Cool.
If I give it a shout out after accidentally going out, or
I literally put something really quickly. I don't know.
I do that all the time.
Okay. The North. Hold on.
What?
Oh, frick! I put it in the wrong thing. God damn it.
Did
The
you
northern part of Canada.
Did you put it in
Yeah.
his?
Yeah.
Aw.
There you go.
The northern part of Canada is something rush.
Stings. I do this in locomotion all the time.
I put in the wrong thing. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
It's okay, Chris, this was stupid anyway.
No big deal.
Anyway. Thank you for watching this episode of the Terminus Podcast. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye!